starts right now on The Bottom Line.
And here we go. Wednesday, May 4th, 2022. Ermanni and Edwards, Woodward Sports Network. Ryan Ermanni, Braylon Edwards looking all fine today, my friend. Good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon to you too, brother. Man, I'm feeling good, man. It's Wednesday. It's Haircut Wednesday. It's got a nice cut, feeling nice and lined up. The sun came out, so I had to have the shades out. Feeling good. When's the last time you've been to a comedy show?
Been a while, Bray. Been a long time. In fact, to be completely honest with you, I'm not sure I've ever been to one live.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Never?
I've never been to a comedy show live.
Are you kidding?
Never.
I'm like, I got to take you. Me and Mass have to take you to a comedy show. Like, it's a must thing that you have to do.
I'd love to.
Mark Ridley's. You never been?
Mark Ridley's Comedy Castle, Bert's Warehouse down in the Eastern Market. Never been there.
Oh, wow.
It's crazy. I know. I'd love to, but I haven't gone.
The reason I bring it up is because a good friend of the show and one of my best friends, Nader. You know Nader. You enjoyed the concert.
Shout out to Nader, baby.
Shout out to Big Nader. Maz, my boy Nader, is trying his hand in comedy today. He has his first stand-up today. He'll be one of the first acts. I think in 4 or 5 minutes. Comedy Castle, Royal Oak, 7:30. Yeah. So, man, and I told him, I said, hey, man, you're very funny. But when you get on stage, you got that microphone and you're looking at people, it's a different thing.
We're talking Mark Ridley's here.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's
what
a different
time?
thing, but he's funny as hell. 7:30.
You going?
Oh, hell yeah. And we support his friends, man. He's always there for me, so
maybe I'll join you.
There is something to being funny, having everybody around you laugh, and then transferring that into an act on the stage. It's got to be something that's really hard. Otherwise, everybody would do it. And you also have to have, I think you should plant people. And by that I mean,
I get it.
There are those people in your life. I have one. I'll shout him out right now. Tom Carr. His name is Tom Carr. He's a photographer, editor at Channel 2.
Okay.
He laughs at everything I say. He laughs.
How about you and me?
That's because you're funny.
At everything I say. Tom Mazawey laughs at everything I say.
Yeah.
And conversely, I laugh at most of the things he says. You need to have
Thank you, Ryan.
those people in the audience when you're doing an act as well, right? That are going to just sit there and tear it up with every time you speak or tell a joke.
It is very different. Like, I consider myself funny. Like, when I'm around the guys, I'm around my people, my family, like, I crack jokes. I try to be funny. I think I'm funny. But it's another thing when you get on that stage, because now you got to tell a story. Now you got to hold the audience. Now you got to read the audience. Now you got to be able to be like, I wrote 7 jokes. This don't look like the audience for joke 5. Now I got to take joke 5 out and come back and replay. And what if you go and somebody tells some similar jokes like you? Like, what if you're standing in spot 4 and in spot 2 somebody tells half your stick? You're like, damn, I worked really hard on that. You got to be able to adapt. So he's a great guy. He's funny as hell. I know he's gonna nail it.
I wish I was able to go tonight because I really would like to go see him.
You'd be a great plant.
Oh my God!
It'd be too obvious.
But I think
his laugh is great.
It doesn't take much to make me laugh though, too, because I really don't take too much seriously.
Yeah,
like I really don't. So and you don't offend me easily either. So if you push the envelope a little bit, chances are you're gonna get me to tear it up a little bit.
I think people are in this space when you go to comedy spots or just in general where they don't want to laugh. They're doing everything not to laugh, even if you're funny. Like, they're like, wasn't that funny?
Right.
It's not that funny. Let go. Laugh. Life is about laughing.
I want to go there.
I want to laugh.
Me
even
too.
if you're not funny, I might give you a chuckle because you should. So,
Maz, you should go hang out with these guys tonight.
I will. I think I will.
I think that would be so fun. We just invited Maz.
Maz is more than welcome. It's right around the corner. Royal Oak, 7:30. Jeff is going to be there. Max is going to be there. We're meeting at Comedy Castle at 7.
That'll be so great. Speaking of comedians, did you see what happened to Dave Chappelle?
What the hell, man?
This
you knew this was coming.
This was the fear. Now, this guy charges the stage. Apparently, he had a replica gun, but within the gun was a real knife. So he was armed with a deadly weapon. The venue had security, and Chappelle has 10 members of his own security detail, and the guy still got to him on stage. So
that's a lot of money to lay out.
I could be totally wrong about this, and feel free to call me out if you think I'm out of turn here in speaking.
Yeah.
What Will Smith did created copycats and created an avenue for people to feel like it's okay to just jump on stage and attack somebody that A, offends you, B, you don't agree with, or C, just gives you a license to try to get your 15 minutes.
Oh, damn, they're coming on the stage, they're about to get me. Like, at the end of the day, you got to look at it like this. From this standpoint, he has 10 security guards of his own. You know why? He's one of the last comedians that isn't afraid to go there. He's one of the last comedians that isn't afraid to hurt your feelings.
Cancel culture.
Cancel culture. Like, he'll talk about it, but he's also willing to have the conversation with anybody. He caught a lot of blowback with the transgender comedy skits, the many of them that he did within the last 3 years. But he's willing to have those conversations. He talked about having that, so he's got to have those people. They still got to him. I'm telling you, we've witnessed this in sport. You see how fans are acting in the arenas in the last 3 years. We watched all last year during the NFL season. Fans are out of control. You watch all the fights, all the dumb stuff, the running on the field. You watch the protester at the Minnesota game trying to protest the owner of the Timberwolves.
Wasn't that great when that security guard had eyes
he was
on
right
that
there
lady?
the whole time. He was
right
waiting
there.
for it. That happened. Then Chris Rock gets slapped by Will Smith. Nothing happens to Will Smith. That was the problem. Oscars did nothing. No security, no arrest, no police, no nothing. He was able to get back to his seat. He was able to go back up there, win the award, give the speech, and then he was able to party at the Vanity Fair party looking like nothing happened. People like, well, you can do that and not get in trouble?
Yeah, that's one of his guys. I mean, that's a colleague that did that.
Which makes it even worse.
But I'm saying it makes it even worse. But I'm saying also, people, this is not the first time somebody has wanted to run up on stage. But now people are starting to be like, they're feeling more brave. They're feeling more bravado, more brass, because you're watching it all the time on TV, on social media. You see it.
Look at that woman in the Grizzly game a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, that's what we were saying.
About.
Yeah.
She was just ready to go out there and tee up Glenn Wilson, the owner.
I'm glad what happened, Ryan. I'm done. I'm glad what happened.
No, this is good.
I'm glad what happened to him, okay? And the reason why I say that is, listen, ran up there with a weapon. No need for you to run on stage. Buying tickets doesn't allow you the privilege to run on stage, you moron. But did you see him afterwards? Did you see him on the stretcher as he was getting in the ambulance car? His arm looks worse than Gary Payton II.
He looked beat up.
He got beat down. You ran on stage with a weapon. You got what you deserve, and now people look at it and they can say, nah, I don't want to do that. I don't want to get beat up like that guy.
You know, you mentioned something too, Bray, that kind of jogs my mind to continue on with this a little bit about how fans at arenas or people are at venues, but they do feel more empowered. They do feel like we have seen them kind of cross the line in many instances, throwing beer on Kyrie Irving, spitting on players. We've seen that within the last 6 months or so, and certainly verbally abusing
100%.
Athletes. I'm not sure how unique that is to this time, but you get the point. Yeah. People just feel like they have a license to do whatever they want.
Look, that whatever you're paying for that ticket, that $1,200, that $2,000, that $5,000, that $10,000, depending on some arenas, obviously Golden State, when you play them, might be $10,000 at courtside. It doesn't buy you the right to get into a physical situation with a player or somebody that you're going to pay to see. Sit down and enjoy the game, man. It comes from a different place. Our parents raised us different. That's what you're saying. Your parents, Maz, your parents, my parents, they raised us different. We wouldn't even think to do some of this foolish nonsense. But these new kids, these new wave, and this new money, they act a little different.
No doubt about it. So, guys, we've got a lot on the show today.
Did you hear Chris Rock's joke?
Yeah, what did he say? Was Will Smith around here or something like that?
Oh, was that Will Smith?
I didn't know they let Will Smith in the building or something like that. It's so funny.
Too soon.
Guys, we will take phone calls today as well. 313-552-6322. 313-552-6322 if you want to get in. We're going to touch on a number of different areas today. We're going to go back to NIL. What responsibility does college athletics, the NCAA, have to how far we've gotten, how the wild, wild west in college sports is here? We'll get to that. Dylan Brooks, did he break the code last night in injuring Gary Payton III? Fractured elbow, the second. Fractured his elbow last night. It was clearly uncalled for. We'll get to that, Braylon. Tigers in the middle of 30 games, just starting out now. 30 games in the next 27 days. Is this make or break for them.
It is. It definitely is. We were talking about this before the show started. The best thing about the Detroit Tigers right now is the bullpen. Does that even make sense for a Detroit Tigers team? The best thing to be a bullpen? We've been raving and screaming for a bullpen for the past how many years, and now you have one, and now nothing else is working. The thing about the way they look right now, Ryan, is it's not that they're losing. It's how they're losing. Like the errors that they had. Obviously, the Minnesota game, one of the worst plays I've ever seen. The Yankees game. They don't look like an MLB team. They look like one of the farm teams.
And they just can't hit either, Tom, right now. I mean,
everything's going
early.
Yeah,
But,
through 3 innings, zeros right now against the Pirates. A true doubleheader. But what I want to do next, guys, is Dave Burkett in the Free Press today had an article with the doctor who performed the surgery on Jameson Williams. And he had some really encouraging things to say about that injury. And it goes exactly in line with what Braylon has been saying all along, all throughout this process. And I'm really excited to talk about that next. And Braylon, you have a unique perspective on this because you tore your ACL, just how long it is. So we'll get into all that. If you are watching right now on Twitter and Facebook, we're going to end that feed and take it exclusively over to YouTube. So you can join us, Woodward Sports on YouTube, and we'll be right there in your pocket, on your television set, in your car. No matter where you are, you do have access to Woodward Sports Network, the Ermanni and Edwards Show.
Woodward Sports Network, this is The Bottom Line.
But first, a message from MyBookie.
That's right. You can get in on all the action today. Right now, MLB in play. Doubleheader between the Tigers and the Pirates down at Comerica Park. So get on MyBookie right now, especially you first-time bettors. You can use the promo code Woodward. They'll double your first deposit all the way up to $1,000. I mean it. You put $100 in, they'll give you another $100 to spend. Any way you want to do it, all the way up to $1,000. NBA playoffs tonight. The Stanley Cup playoffs rolling. It's awesome time to be a sports gambler. Make sure you do it responsibly.
Matthews.
Get on it. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere with MyBookie and the promo code Woodward. If you have a gambling problem, use the Michigan Problem Gambling Hotline, 1-800-270-7117.
Hi, my diamonds. It's Crystal with an X. You want to get hot and perfect like me? Here's my super easy routine. Drink at least a gallon of water before you wake up. Attach a weight to everything in your house. Hello? Sell your car and just sprint everywhere. Scream when you exhale.
Don't follow Crystal with an X. Do your own thing at Planet Fitness with tons of equipment and free fitness training in our clean and spacious clubs. Join now for just $10 a month and cancel anytime.
You have an opinion? Make sure it's seen and heard. Corner, jumper. Tweet us, hop on the YouTube chat, slide in the DMS at Woodward Sports on all social media.
Hey gang, want to tell you about Wingstop, fresh, juicy, hormone-free chicken. Wingstop has the best traditional wings. Try out those signature sauces, Jamaican jerk or lemon pepper. Wings toss perfection in any sauce you pick. When the wings are this good, you're allowed to be a snob. Order online. Look for a location near you. Wingsnob.com, wingsnob.com. We just have better wings.
Some of those lemon peppers don't sound half bad right now, brother. I'll tell you that.
No doubt about it. Guys, we have talked so much about Jameson Williams and the injury. Braylon, just to back up for you before we get to Burkett's article with the doctor, you have maintained, as somebody who tore their ACL and came back, this was 9 years ago, I think you tore your ACL, 2013, was it?
Oh, no. 17 years ago.
17 years ago?
17 years ago. December 4th, 05.
05?
December 4th,
Why
05.
did I think that was 13?
Because you're giving me credit, because I look young. I look younger today. No, man, 17 years ago I tore my ACL in December on my mom's birthday against the Jaguars.
And how long did it take you to feel right? And then how long did it take you to forget that you had that surgery and you were just Braylon Edwards?
So what you want to know about ACL surgery is, like, when you have a major knee surgery like this, you can tear your ACL by itself. You can tear your ACL, PCL. You can do multiple facets or any combination or any sequence. The ones that are really extreme, that's when you do the MCL, the PCL, and the ACL. That's anterior cruciate ligament, that's posterior cruciate ligament, and that's medial lateral cruciate ligament. When you tear all of those, it's a building process. You're basically rebuilding your knee. So that process takes a lot longer. You're talking 12 months. You're talking maybe 13, 14, 15, 16 to really get back strong and get back mental. Now, me, I was blessed just to tear my ACL, which is the same exact thing that Jameson Williams did. He only tore his ACL. Now, what you'll notice, he's running in straight, fine line, vertical speed. He still can roll. He's moving fast because the way in which the process works, you tear your ACL, then you do rehab for a month because you got to get the swelling out. You don't want to have surgery while your knee's still swelling because then it even swells even more, and that process can be a hindrance. So get about a month to 3 weeks. You rehab, get the swelling down, get the range of motion there, have the surgery, and then right after that, the morning after the surgery, you're in the training room. They're bending your knee, working on the flexibility, working on the range of motion. You start to get rolling. Knee starts to feel good early. After 3 months, you're fine. You're straight ahead speed. You're moving. You're getting after it. 4 months, you're jumping. You're feeling comfortable. You're really moving. Then at the 5 months, it starts to drag. It starts to drag because now you're waiting to go lateral. Now you're waiting to go sideways, which is the lateral ligament. That's why it's hard to go lateral right away when you're in this process. So that's the drag period, is getting the lateral there. After 6, 7 months, now you're talking about coming back. Now you're testing it. Now you're doing 7-on-7. Now you're doing some routes on air. Now you're feeling good. Now you're doing the route tree. 7 months, you can go. But it's the mental. It's the mental that you got to work on. Because your knee's healed at 7 months. Like your knee is good. But it's your mindset. Running straight ahead, you're not worried when you're just running. It's nothing there. But when you're running a comeback and you got to run and then plant, you kind of gingerly come down on that knee because you're scared. When you got to go up for a 50-50 ball, when I got DB in practice, I got Jeff Okuda, or I got Ermanni Oruwariye, and I'm trying to go over him and make a play, I'm like, I don't want to come down. I'm nervous. I'm scared. That process takes, after 7, an additional, I would say 4 months to fully, so you're almost a year, to fully trust yourself. You're good at 7. You're not going to hurt yourself at 7. The mental aspect is the last part, and that takes 3 to 4 months just for you to be like, yo, you know what? Boom, I'm good. I got it. I can go.
So Jay Will tells everybody, yeah, I could have ran the fastest 40. I could have ran the fastest cone. I could have done all of this. Does he get that speed back right away?
I think so. Yeah, I think so.
All of it?
Yeah, actually. So here's the crazy thing about it. Because you work so much on the leg that you injured, you kind of neglect the leg that was already good. When I got back, my right leg, which is the ACL that I tore, I'm a left leg guy. I'm a dominant left leg. My right leg was so strong. Like I wouldn't play basketball. Cleveland didn't know about it, and they found out, and it was a whole ordeal. But I was jumping higher than I had been jumping. I was running faster because you're still young. Like you're still growing. Just because this happens doesn't mean you stop growing. You got drafted. It's over. Now you become an old man. Your body's still growing. Your body's still finite. You're still getting to the prime, sweet age. So he's going to be fast, and he'll get back to exactly where he was when he tore his ACL against Georgia. He'll be there probably in the next 2 months.
One of my reasons for talking about, and again, forgive me, I thought it was 9 years ago. It was 17 years ago. Think about how good you
17.
Right. Think about how good you were after that, and that was 17 years ago. Now think about all the advancements in medicine since that time and how many surgeries they've done since that time. Dave Burkett caught up with Dr. Lyle Kane. First of all, what a name.
That's Adrian Peterson's
right? Dr. Lyle Kane. He's a
soap opera-esque.
Yeah, he's a specialist at the Andrews Sports Medicine. Dr. James Andrews doesn't do the surgeries. They wasn't that guy like 90 or something,
yeah.
Right?
He was the genius.
He did great 60 minutes on him.
He's done everybody. And one of the biggest regrets that I have is when I tore my meniscus when I was with the 49ers in 2011. I let them talk me into getting the surgery at Stanford. Yeah. Hell, I'm thinking, because at the time, it goes back to the situation you're in versus the one you used to be in. Right. When I was in Cleveland, I was just coming out, I was just getting drafted. I'm going to do what I want to do. I'm not worried about it because I know I'm good. But when I was in San Fran, the situation wasn't the same. I'm nervous. I'm scared. I still want to be on the team. So I listened to them and went to Stanford. Yeah. And my knee, that actually what ended my career. Like, it was a bad surgery. It was a bot surgery. I came back, had loose bodies floating around in my knee, and ended up having another surgery. But Andrews is where I should have went.
How about Frank Jobe before him? Remember that one?
Yeah,
that was Frank
good.
Jobe?
Yeah, he did a couple of different guys that we know, right?
Hell yeah.
So Dave Burkett, Freep.com, does an interview with Dr. Lyle Kane, who performed the surgery on Jameson Williams. A couple of quotes here for you. Jameson's goal is to play the first preseason game, obviously. I told him, look, depending upon which team you go to, the teams are they're going to be very conservative. You've got to understand that. And he'll get talked into it. But I know he's, in his mind, he's going to be ready for game 1. That is pretty great stuff, if you ask me. I think he's going to be ready for game 1. At least that's medically what his doctor is saying. I think that's really good.
He also says he'll look like $1 million.
Yeah,
that's the quote I want to hear.
There's a wide variety of ACL injuries, from pretty straightforward to very complex, and his was very straightforward, which makes it easier for him for sure. I'm sure you saw him on draft day. He looks like nothing ever happened, and he's kind of one of those guys where he looks so good, so fast, and I think the question for the medical staff of the Lions is going to be, how fast are they going to let him progress and get moving? Because over the course of his history in the NFL has been a relatively conservative and slow with return for the athletes. He goes on and says, I can't find it right now, but Maz, what's the quote?
He'll look like $1 million.
Yes. He'll look like $1 million.
So here's what I think about that. So obviously, like I said, he tore his ACL January, had surgery February. So now I'm looking at it. So February to March, so you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 months will be September. That's the start of the season. That'll be 7 months. Remember, I told you 7 months. He's good. He'll be good to go. But now it's about his mental. That mental acts a little bit better. You say September, now October, November. Probably November is when he'll start to trust that mental. November, December. If I'm the Detroit Lions, you got a guy that you moved up 12 spots to take, okay? Because he was injured. A lot of people are like, should they have taken him? He's injured. You're working with the process right now and getting him ready for the season. Why would you try to rush him back to play in the first preseason? And I know this wasn't the Lions. Right. This was the doctor. But why would you have him play 6 months after ACL surgery, and you've drafted him 12th overall to be the game changer for your franchise in the new regime? Doesn't make any sense.
I don't think that happens.
I would not let this man. I want him to play this year. I wouldn't play him, and I'm not lying to you. I would not play him before November 1st, the first week in November.
That's an interesting point that you say that, because I think on the draft, too, when they were talking about when could he actually play, whether he's ready week 1 in September, or whether you have him sit out the month of September, or however he progresses, we just don't know how he's going to progress. And that mental, not only the mental, but for a rookie to come into the NFL, it's not just meat and potatoes. I mean, you gotta prepare the meal a little bit. You gotta understand the playbook and all that. Maz, I want to read the quote for you real quick, and then I'm gonna get to you. The reality is, most guys are ready before that, talking about 8 months, but they're not in their confidence. Exactly what you said. So they may not have had enough reps to really be comfortable in the system they're in. I think for Jameson, I think when he shows up to camp soon, he's going to look like $1 million. And I think it's just how quick it takes him to get through the progression of feeling back to normal. Exactly what you said,
Remember
Mr.
what Brad
Edwards.
Holmes said to him on the phone? Hey, big dog, we drafted you. You take your time and heal up.
Right.
You're going to be a big part of what we're going to do in the future. He told him, because you're going to come here and you're going to just chill out, man, and get better.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, look, they know he's the guy. And also, look what the Detroit Lions are this year. I know we've had conversation about them maybe winning 10 games, maybe winning 9. And obviously, we'll talk about that later on down the line. But it's the Detroit Lions. They're not fighting for the Super Bowl this year. It's no need to rush him into September. It's no need to rush him into that lineup. Not to mention, you got Sharp. You got Ermanni, not Ermanni, right? You got Quintez Cephas is coming back. Amon-Ra St. Brown. You have enough weapons to hold you over and tide you over. One thing that can get you injured is timidness. Like when you're timid, you can get injured because you make a mistake. I got an older player that partially tore his ACL, first play of the game, first game of the season, in the Silverdome, and played in the Super Bowl that same year. His name was Rod Woodson, and you're talking about 1994.
Exactly. So very, very encouraging news on the Jameson Williams injury front. Very encouraging news on a lot of people being high on the Lions. Was this a franchise-changing draft? Is Aiden Hutchinson the guy that will be all the talk for Defensive Rookie of the Year? We've got those stories and much more next. Ermanni and Edwards. on Woodward Sports Network. But first, a message from SMA.
Oh, and radio. SMA, the sports marketing agency, helps spread awareness about mental health and substance abuse. There are no podcasts. This is the F word, spreads awareness of fentanyl and other addictions. Go to thesportsma.com. If you're struggling or know somebody that is, go to thesportsma.com. Find the answers that you need. We all need a little help. Don't be afraid to ask.
Life is full of hard choices. We're here to make one of life's biggest decisions as simple as possible. My name is Christina Gennari, and for over 20 years, I've helped hundreds of families buy and sell homes. We cover all of Metro Detroit and more, from large luxury homes to starter homes. We will work hard to make sure that you get the home of your dreams. So if you're in the market today or even thinking about buying or selling in the future, make the obvious choice. Christina Gennari, the obvious choice in real estate. Visit us at soldchristina.com today.
Fellas, let's be honest. We like things to be easy. We like simple stuff, like sports 7 days a week. We like things uncomplicated, like Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. Open 10 to 8, 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. Sign in, sit down, watch your favorite team play. And before you know it, your hair will be game ready. Open 10 to 8, 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. It's wicked awesome.
Ermanni and Edwards, Woodward Sports Network. Thanks for coming along with us on a Wednesday afternoon. Tigers in action right now. Bottom of the fourth inning, or game one of a doubleheader, 0-0. I don't know if there's a pitching change or not, because the Pittsburgh Pirates opened up with an opener. Then he came out of the game after three and a third innings. So we'll see what happens there. But, so we've got that going on. We've got NBA, NHL today. Tom Mazawey, you had something.
Hey, I got my Tiger tickets up for grabs here on YouTube, by the way. I can't use them. I'll be glad to forward them over to if somebody wants them. I will email them over to you, so hit me up on the YouTube. Great seats behind home plate, and you got both games. But I wanted to bring up Jameson Williams. This is what I took out of when they took him. You look at players, right? Now, Bray, tell me if I'm wrong. You come into work, you look at an employee, you know if they're happy, if they're not, if they're slouched over, if they're like, oh yeah, I got to be here again today. The way Jameson Williams looked like you stabbed him with the 12th pick in the NFL draft. He just does not look like a happy dude. I didn't follow him completely in his career. Right. Is he a happy-go-lucky guy, or is he a kind of guy that's like, okay, yeah, I'm okay. Jim Brown used to get up, looked like he looked like he was crippled, and then he'd run 80 yards right by you.
And then he was crippled for real.
Then he was. But I want to say, if you're not happy with the team that took you, I guess Ndamukong Suh comes to my mind, and we all knew that day when they took him, he ain't gonna stay here. We all thought that. His sister,
Ngum, I love Ngum.
They had a plan.
Right.
And I don't think Detroit was in their plan. Was Detroit in this kid's plan?
Well, not to mention they didn't get paid.
Hey, look, I wanted Suh to stay here. He was the Lions, if you ask me.
Talk about the salary cap hit. Yep. Couldn't afford all three of them. So I had to go back and look at film of him. I had to go to his Instagram page, because I saw that same picture. Like, when I saw that picture, I was like,
he still looks miserable.
That looks like a guy. And I'll bring in all the intangibles, all the things in a second. But you got to go back. That's his demeanor. Like, that's how he is in games. That's how he is in practice. Like, that's how his pictures are. He's a chill guy. Like, he's not excited. He's not over the top. He's not the one doing all the handshaking and the big. Like, that's not him. He's not Kayvon Thibodeau. Like, that's just not who he is. Now, with that being said, if you didn't talk to the Detroit Lions, see, we're excited about the Detroit Lions because we're optimistic about what we saw last year in the draft. We're optimistic about what we saw in December. We're optimistic about the draft this year, etc. So, we're more excited about it than he is. All he knows about the Detroit Lions is they suck. All he knows about the Detroit Lions is they had the second pick overall, which means they were the second sorriest team in the NFL. That's all he knows about. All he knows is he didn't talk to the Lions at all. And then all of a sudden, they move up 12 picks to take him out of the blue.
Did they not talk to him at all?
No, they didn't. Not like that. They talked to him like any other player. And also, mind you, you're coming from Bama.
Royalty.
What does Bama do every year? Every year, Bama's expected to win a national championship. They should have won last year. So he's coming from that. He doesn't know about the Lions. They move up. They take him. Not to mention, you also got to know another reason why he looks like that. He's still pissed he tore his ACL. He's going through rehab right now. He's trying to get on the field.
Wilson and Olave go before him, too.
And then he had his boy go before him, Wilson and Olave. He's the #1 receiver. People are telling him if he doesn't take his ACL, he's legitimately going to be in the top 4. Like, he'll go before Sauce Gardner. He'll go before Derek Stingley Jr. potentially if he doesn't tear his ACL. So you factor all that in, and you look at that. That's what you got. So you can read a little into it because he damn sure didn't want to come here. But I think...
Who really does? Really?
Many people. Look, this is the National Football League.
Come on, man.
I didn't have an answer.
You know what the joke was a few years ago when they were going to have it in Vegas? It was 2020. They were going to have it in Vegas. We all said it. Whoever the Lions take, they're going to jump into Bellagio freaking fountain. I do think... Because it is. Let's face it, man. This is your one chance. And you get drafted by the worst team in the NFL. They're the worst team in the NFL.
I understand that.
I know how he feels.
I understand that. But if you really do your homework on this organization and you get a chance to talk to Brad Holmes, Dan Campbell, Chris Spielman, I think Aaron Glenn, sorry, I don't know why I said Terry Glenn, but Aaron
Rest
Glenn.
in peace.
Terry Glenn died?
Yeah.
Wide receiver?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Regardless, if you do your homework on this organization now, I think you see that they are an exciting franchise to play for. I think they are exciting guys to play for. Who wouldn't want to play for Aaron Glenn? Who wouldn't want to play for Dan Campbell? Who wouldn't want to be around Brad Holmes? You know, I mean, you think about that. You can't, and I understand it's hard not to do, but you put 70 years of futility on these guys. They carry that weight, but they don't own it all. And I think when you get drafted to the Detroit Lions, I think it's incredibly unfair. And I've seen the criticism online. I've seen the criticism of the way Jameson Williams looks at his jersey presentation or at the press conference, introductory press conference for the Detroit Lions. I've seen all the criticism. That looks like a player that doesn't want to be here. I think that is an incredibly unfair tag to put on a guy that we don't even know yet. We don't know if that's his personality because we haven't done our homework.
I'm just asking.
I understand that, Maz, but at the same time, I've seen it from other people online. We don't know him yet. We don't know his personality yet, and most people out there commenting on the way he looks at the introductory press conference don't know a damn thing about him. So to say he's not happy to play for the Detroit Lions, I think, is incredibly unfair.
Hey, see, somebody got a little upset right there.
Yeah.
I had to pinch your skirt a little bit. I like it. Give me some of that fire. And that's what we talked about. I told you, look, I had to go back and look at his demeanor. That's his natural demeanor. He's always like that. He's not a rah-rah guy. You're not going to see that out of him. He's not a rah-rah guy, so that is his demeanor. But, Ryan, I got to call BS on you. You're 42 years old. You have passion with this franchise. You understand how to look at things differently. 1, you're a fan. 2, you're 42. You get it. You're
43.
Grown. 40.
I still think I'm 40.
I try to give you the benefit of the doubt. You look no older than 39. But you're that. He's 21 years old. All he knows about the Detroit Lions, he doesn't know about the rebuild. He doesn't know about what Sheila Forham and Dan Campbell and Brad Holmes are trying to do. He doesn't know about the energy and what they've put out and the things that they've done. He doesn't know that. He's a 20-year-old kid that knows about ball and scoring touchdowns. All he knows about the Detroit Lions, they suck. Calvin Johnson didn't want to leave. Calvin Johnson didn't want to stay here. Barry Sanders didn't want to stay here. They couldn't go. They don't go to the playoffs. They don't have a playoff win since 1991. They've never been to a Super Bowl. Like, that's what he knows. Those are the things that travel nationally. Those things travel nationally. That at 21, he knows. He doesn't know the other thing about what you said, but guess what? They'll tell him and they'll show him.
Let me ask you guys this question. It leads to another discussion. And this is an old discussion related to new players, though. With Amon-Ra St. Brown, with Jameson Williams, with Quintez Cephas, and I believe Quintez Cephas is a big part of this team.
I was high on Quintez when he was in Wisconsin.
I do. Yeah. I do. And with DJ Chark, you're talking about 4 really young wide receivers in this league that could really do a lot of damage and be a strength for this organization. Don't you think it would be nice to have Calvin Johnson in the fold? He lives here. He's around. Maybe, just maybe, now more than ever is the time to get things right with Calvin Johnson. What better ambassador what better teacher, what better influence can all four of these wide receivers, or hell, just forget about Cephas. I mean, if you want to just put Williams, Amon-Ra, and DJ in there, fine.
The offense as a whole.
The offense as a whole. Don't you think making things right with Calvin Johnson should be among the top priorities this organization has as a franchise, because of how youthful, how much skill they have, and how good it could be for these guys moving forward in their careers, in their lives, than to get them around Calvin freaking Johnson?
When I was with the Cleveland Browns, Paul Warfield and the great Jim Brown were part of the organization. Jim Brown was a buffer between the front office and the players. That was his role. Paul Warfield was a scout. For those of you that don't know who Paul Warfield was, he's a Hall of Fame. Well, they don't. We'll educate him. He's a Hall of Fame wide receiver. Played in the 60s at Ohio State. Boo. But then he plays for the Cleveland Browns, and he also plays for the undefeated Miami Dolphins. They were older. Like, Paul Warfield was in his 60s when I was drafted. Jim Brown was, Lord knows how old he was. Yeah, because you never get an honest answer out of him. I listened to everything that they told me. And these individuals were older. I was listening to Jim Brown. I'm hanging on every word that he says. I'm listening to Paul Warfield. I'm hanging on every word he says as a wide receiver. One thing he told me, he said, I think you should put your hand in the dirt. That's how I did it. I said, yeah, that was the 60s. I ain't doing that. But other than that, I listened to everything that he said. You talking about Calvin Johnson, somebody that just retired, just went in Ken, that relates to these guys. Many of them probably emulated him at one point. That would be amazing.
He probably
wants to.
But he probably is the guy. We can continue on with this discussion too, because if you look at Calvin Johnson, he probably is the guy that all of these young wide receivers wanted to be when they were coming up playing. I would have to imagine he's numero uno.
Especially somebody like Drake London.
Right.
Drake London's 6'5". Somebody like DJ Chark. DJ Chark's 6'3".
And that's a perfect example.
Yeah.
Remember Drake London saying, I want to be a Lion because Calvin Johnson's my favorite player. We'll continue on with this discussion and more. But first, a message from the Foaling Warehouse.
In Dearborn, Michigan. In Hamtramck, Michigan. I almost had to move. That's right, the Foaling Warehouse in Hamtramck. Chris Hutt, the inventor of the Foaling game, the football bowling game that you can play anytime. Great indoor sport. It is putting football and bowling together. Throwing the football at the bowling pins, knocking down as many as you can. 2 ways to play. $10 unlimited open play or a private lane reservation. 2 hours, costs you $120. You can put 10 or 12 people on it. Bring your own food in. You can have it delivered. The place is huge. TVs everywhere. Future. They got bars there as well. Over 100 beers to offer. And, of course, you want to get your foal on there. You can do it all at thefoalingwarehouse.com.
Cintron is the official energy drink of the Red Wings, proud partners of the Detroit Pistons, and exclusively served at Little Caesars Arena. If you're looking for premium ingredients, long-lasting energy, balanced hydration, essential vitamins, and great taste, Cintron is your top choice.
3 NBA championships. Detroit fans were there. 11 Stanley Cups. Detroit fans were there. 4 World Series wins. Detroit fans were there. And that one Lions playoff win in 1991, Detroit fans were there. Woodward Sports, where the fans are.
I told you guys that summertime was around the corner. Look at it outside. I know you can't see it, but you can feel it. 63 degrees. The sun is out. The guns are out. It's time for you to get in shape as well. $10 a month is all it takes at Planet
Only $10?
Only $10, Ryan Ermanni. You see this studio? It is courtesy of Sticker Genius and Planet Fitness. $10 is all it takes. $22.99 if you want the black card, all the access to all the amenities. But we don't need you to get that right now. Just go down in person, sign up, $0 down in person, and you can get it cracking. Summer's going to be beautiful. Summer 22 is going to be beautiful. You want to be in shape for it. You want to go to Planet Fitness right now or planetfitness.com.
Bottom line, Woodward Sports Network, Ryan Ermanni, Braylon Edwards, Tom Mazawey. We've got Sam Flannel and the great Alex Mayer hitting the buttons over there. Guys, talking a little Calvin Johnson here because of these the youth that the Detroit Lions have in that room. Amon-Ra St. Brown, Jameson Williams, DJ Chark, who's DJ's 25 years old?
DJ Chark's 24.
25 years old. And then, of course, Quintez Cephas coming back from injury. I think it's important for Calvin to get involved with these guys. And I think it's incumbent upon the organization now to make it right, to do whatever it takes to make it right. Look, I don't know what that is, if that's just stroking a check or what, but you cannot, and we've seen them get with Barry.
Yeah, oh my God.
But I think having Calvin, and you can get with Calvin down the road, and that would be all fine and good, and we believe that will happen eventually, at least I hope, kind of like a Barry Sanders situation. But because his influence can be greatest now amongst this wide receiver core, I just think is really important, and I don't think that should be overlooked. This franchise has been a miserable franchise for the last 70 years, and they've got certain players whose names are synonymous with this organization. Calvin Johnson's a first ballot Hall of Famer. And you've got these wide receivers who are so impressionable and so youthful and can benefit so much from his knowledge. I just think now is as good a time as ever to get this thing right. Josh Reynolds, Zeke pointed out,
great call
on the
they got
chat.
Too many wide receivers.
Yeah,
now.
Absolutely.
You look at a situation like Barry, what happened. Obviously, we understand it was Bobby Ross. Call it what it was. 99, 2000. Barry retires in 2000, not of his own will. He didn't want to retire. Just look what happened to Barry. Like, after that happened, he was quiet, he was distant, he didn't do much of TV, he didn't do much of interviews, he didn't do much of commercials, he didn't do anything with the Detroit Lions. Why would you have the best running back, I didn't stutter, the best running back of all time, why would you allow it to get to that?
Yeah.
Where it took this long for him to come back into the fold. Like, don't do that with Calvin. Calvin's right here. It's still fresh. You guys can right this wrong. Now, look, I'm not in the front office. I don't know exactly what it would take to right the wrong. I don't know what the check is. I don't know if it's 1.7. If it's 1, is it 800,000? Is it a handshake? Is it I'm sorry? I don't know what it would take. But I do know this. You just drafted a young man 12th overall that you said could change your franchise. In 2007, you drafted a young man 2nd overall that did change your franchise. Wouldn't you like for him to help him?
And that's really the point, Braylon. And Tom, I'll get you involved in this as well. I'm not sure what it will take to get Calvin Johnson back in the fold, but at the same time, Maz, how important do you feel it is to this organization?
Oh, hell, man. How many times do I bring it up? I always drop it in. I'm always constantly dropping in Calvin Johnson's name. You got to make it right. I don't think that's really on the top of Lions fans' minds these days. We just want to get this thing straight. We've got our quarterback all of a sudden. Brad Holmes says yesterday, yep, we're building around Jared Goff. So that's the quarterback. They're happy with the quarterback room, and I guess that's the only thing I'm really worried about right now.
And I'm not sure it's on the top of Lions fans' minds at all. And
no.
Honestly, probably shouldn't even give it a second thought, but as an organization, I'm not sure why you wouldn't want to do everything to improve the players on your roster. I mean, we had this story on our rundown for a week, and we really never touched it.
Right.
But it was about Amon-Ra St. Brown being mentored by Terrell Owens.
Yeah.
Pretty cool. I liked it.
Excuse me.
I liked it.
Excuse me. That's fine.
Yeah.
I got nothing wrong with Terrell Owens.
But you prefer our own.
Calvin Johnson is a couple of miles away. He makes his home here.
I got you, man.
Said.
I got you.
He makes his home here.
And he's chill right now.
Don't you think? Dynamite drop it.
Thank you.
Don't you think, though, it would be worth it and incumbent upon the organization to facilitate that relationship?
Of course.
So here's the thing. Somebody's going to facilitate that relationship, because one thing I do know, I know Calvin Johnson well. Maz, I know you know him. Ryan, I know you know him. I know him well. Calvin's a hell of a guy. Like, Calvin's one of the best type of individuals that you could be. He's going to reach out to Jameson Williams because, one, he doesn't necessarily have to care about the Detroit Lions front office, but he cares about the Detroit Lions. He cares about the position of wide receiver. So I guarantee you he's going to reach out. But the Lions are the ones that got to facilitate that deal moving forward. And let's get it done before the season. And the reason why I say that, Calvin Johnson, he gets inducted to the Lion Pride. I think that's what they call it. When he has wearing the Hall of Fame jacket, the whole ring ceremony for him. It was an amazing ceremony, except for one thing. They booed the hell out of Sheila for him.
Right.
Nobody wants to see that. And you as a Detroit Lion, Sheila Hamp, you, because drop the forward, Sheila Hamp, you. How did that make you feel? It didn't make me feel good watching you get booed, because that's not all on you. But wouldn't it be easy for you to figure it out, to spearhead? Hey, you know what, Rod? What do we got to do to get Calvin right? Like, what is it going to take to get Calvin right? What do we have to do so that next time there's a ceremony or next time there's an event, it's not the Detroit Lions fans and Calvin versus the Detroit Lions and the front office organization. You want everybody to be together.
Jaron on the YouTube chat says, bring CJ in and he can help with the pain management with the weed. I'm not sure that's a joke or not, but that is an aspect of healing too that I think Calvin has a whole hell of a lot of knowledge about.
It's illegal.
And it's illegal?
In the NFL, it's illegal. Like, just like some corporations.
What do you mean it's illegal?
It's illegal in the NFL.
It's not on the up and up.
It should
anymore.
not be.
Well, the players take care of themselves.
It shouldn't be, but it's not illegal in the NFL. But the thing about that, they only test for marijuana during training camp. Little known fact, little side note. Oh, boops! I ruined the fourth wall.
Even for Gordon, even for Josh Gordon.
They only test. Well, no, he tests every day.
Okay.
If you're in the system, maybe.
But training camp, you test for PEDs, then you test for street drugs. That's it for street drugs for the rest of the season. So everybody smokes. Know. Everybody smokes during the season, so it won't be legal. So he can't get in on the legal side of things.
Okay, but even so, as an organization, if they're not going to test for it, and it is something that the players do
under the table,
wouldn't you want a guy that kind of has got some knowledge about it and say, hey, this is what's going on? I don't know. I could be making too much of this, and I've been known to make a mountain out of a molehill and a lot of different things. I just think that when you're the Detroit Lions, you take every possible avenue at your disposal to get the guys on your team better. And I think this wide receiver group would be better if Calvin Johnson was in the room with them.
The franchises that get it, Ryan, and this is great for Maz and you. The franchises that get it, you don't have to tell them this. When you go to a Steelers game, you're going to see Franco Harris. You're going to see Jerome Bettis. You're going to see Troy Polamalu, who, by the way, lives in the West Coast. You're going to see those guys. When you go to Green Bay, same thing. When you go to the Raiders, same thing. When you go to the 49ers, I'm tired of seeing Jerry Rice. Like, we get it. You're the greatest of all time. Get off the field. You see their stars. You see their Hall of Famers. You see their players because they keep bringing them back. You know why they do that? So that they can show free agents, so they can show other people around the league, hey, we take care of ours. Like, we take care of our guys. Our guys are proud to be 49ers. Our guys are proud to be Steelers and part of that steel curtain. They're proud. Detroit Lions, Chris Pillman just came back. How long did that take? Barry Sanders, that took from 2000 to what, 4 years ago? Like, come on.
He decided he wanted to make some money?
I think he wanted to make, but he makes a ton of money off those high like signings.
Yeah.
Like Barry makes $500,000 just on autograph signings a year.
Sure.
But I think he missed the spotlight. Like Barry, he deserved the spotlight. Like, you're the best running back of all time, and they ran you out of town. That's not your fault. And I think he finally made peace with it and said, I'm gonna get mine.
Well, he never wanted to be in the spotlight. He finally decided, hey, this ain't so bad after all.
Because it's all homage.
Yeah.
Like, it's paying homage.
Yeah. Speaking of autograph signings, guys, I want to change it up in the next segment, talk a little NIL. Heard a story today that I thought was really interesting, and it just kind of highlights as well the problems with the NCAA. We'll get that next, and how much blame they have with name, image, likeness. Yeah. How much is their fault for the Wild Wild West that has been created. So we'll get to that first, but we'll get to that next. But first, a message from Les Stanford. It is no secret that new cars are hard to come by, but they are available at Les Stanford. You've got to make a plan, though. Allocation coming in for lease and purchase of new vehicles. Les Stanford also has over 350 pre-owned cars on their lot right now. All makes, all models, all years. Some with less than 500 miles on them, so they're like new. For more, visit LesStanford.com. LesStanford.com.
Find new roads. Find them.
6 dark corners, a driveway and a patio, 5 windows that could become doors. Every house has unique security challenges. Guardian Alarm has more tech, more team, and more ways to help keep them all safe. Get a professionally designed and installed security and smart home system from Guardian Alarm. Sign up today and get a free video device. Guardian Alarm. Smart, right from the start. Call 1-800-STAY-OUT.
Make sure you download the Woodward Sports app in the App Store and the Google Play Store today. Take Woodward Sports with you wherever you go and listen live on your phone or mobile device.
Our friends at Alta Equipment know that when it comes to getting your job completed on budget and on schedule, uptime matters. That's why Alta Equipment has partnered with the biggest names in construction. With the most diverse rental fleet in Michigan, there is nothing your project can throw at you that Alta can't handle. Give them a call at 844-GO-TO-ALTA today. Again, 844-GO-TO, the number ALTA today. Alta Equipment, where uptime matters.
I don't want to sound like that old guy or like that dad figure, man, but like watching Sam do the reads. I remember Sam's first read. Now you watch that read, so smooth. Yesterday, watching Alex conduct traffic. He was over here with you. He was telling me to move over. He was telling Fletch what to do. It's fun watching the kids growing up, man.
No doubt. Training Fletch a little bit.
My kid just turned in her final assignment at MSU for her freshman year.
Really? How do you feel about that, Maz?
I can't believe it's a year already.
It happens,
I cannot.
Now, is she back in school, like in class, all classes?
Most of the classes are.
What do you
in
mean,
school.
most of the classes?
That's the way MSU is. Some are still on the Zoom.
Here's the kicker, though, man. I remember my sister started her first year at Bowling Green. First year, 2008. Now she's 32 and she's due in June. It goes quick. You better enjoy it.
Hey, man, I remember holding these girls, and now I can't hold them back.
Does she have to wear a mask in the classes?
No.
Oh, that's good.
That's good.
That is good.
And I got my other one, Abby, my middle. She starts at Grand Valley in September. How about that?
They're all grown up.
Pretty good stuff there, Maz. You've
okay
done it the right
buddy?
way, my man.
You okay, big guy?
No, I'm not okay.
You've done it the right way.
I'll give you a hug.
Guys, I want to talk a little NIL because it's been a pretty big topic recently. And then, of course, with the comments by Hunter Dickinson the other day, Hunter Dickinson saying that Michigan will potentially lose out on big-time recruits because they just don't have the infrastructure in place on any NIL deal like an Alabama football or a Kentucky basketball. They just simply don't have it in place.
And he made it known that it's not Juwan or Jim Harbaugh's fault.
It's not either of those coaches' faults. They are trying really hard to get the administration on board with how it goes in today's day and age, but they are just not there yet. So it appears to be the wild, wild west out there. There's 7-figure deals like crazy now out there. There's a number of them. In fact, we told the story about how a Texas wide receiver was offered offered 7
Michigan
figures
commit.
by another Power 5 conference team, right? to basically poach. To poach him from Texas. He did decline, which means Texas stepped up to the plate and paid him that and then some, probably to stay. It is the wild, wild west out there. And
hasn't caught a pass.
How much fault does the NCAA take in all of this? Because of how minuscule and how small they have been as an organization over the decades. Mike Greenberg told a story today, Greeny on ESPN.
Oh, ESPN. Love Greeny.
Told a story today how he went to the Northwestern School of Journalism, the Medill School of Journalism, very elite. Many people, high-level television newscasters have gone there. And it's very rare for a Medill
You're
school.
still the best, though.
Thank you.
Still the best.
I did not go to Medill.
You didn't have to.
but how rare it was because of how intensive the curriculum is at the Medill School of Journalism for somebody with that major to be on the football team.
Yeah.
So there was one kid, though, years ago when he was doing Mike and Mike, and they Northwestern football team called him up and said, would you be willing to do a phone call with this guy? And he said, I'll do you one better. Send him out here and and he could shadow me at ESPN for a day. It was from 5 a.m. to 10 a.m. That's really what the period was. But ESPN researched it. Northwestern's compliance office researched it. He could not buy him breakfast. The cafeteria at ESPN, $2 omelets.
Right.
Mike Greenberg could not spend $2 on the omelet. Otherwise, Northwestern would have been penalized with recruiting violations or with some sort of violation because Greeny couldn't buy him a $2 omelet.
But he's not a team.
Exactly. He's an alumni, quote-unquote, booster.
I gotcha.
So whether it's Johnny Manziel or Reggie Bush signing autographs, making a couple of making a couple of bucks on the side. Whether it was when Mike Golick's kids were at Notre Dame.
Reggie Bush did it. He did a little more than sign a couple autographs.
Either way, I'm going to the small stuff. Like when Mike Golick's kids were at Notre Dame, Mike Golick could not pay for his son's teammates' dinner because Mike Golick, Notre Dame alumni, ESPN, Notre Dame booster, essentially, isn't just a dad. He's not just a dad on the team. He couldn't pay for Mike's roommate's dinner if they went out. Now, I'm sure he did, but it's that kind of smallness from the NCAA that has led to this floodgates open wild, wild west. It really has become that way. They deserve this. The NCAA deserves this. They made their bed, and now they got to lie in that pile of poo.
Mark Emmert, there's a reason why he quit as president of the NCAA, because he just can't take it anymore. Let someone else handle this. Bray, I'll throw it over to you.
Yeah, there's a quote that Anne Hathaway had when she played Catwoman in The Last Batman Dark Knight Rises. She said, you think all of you could live up there and have so much when all of us had so few, talking about obviously the NCAA and then talking about and the institutions, but then talking about the kids not having enough. And the levee broke. And now it's the Wild Wild West. You look at the, I want to say his name is Smith, Mr. Smith, the AD for Ohio State. He's basically telling
You see what he said?
You see what he said? He said, look, man, let every conference do their own thing. Is that essentially what he said?
He said let the FBS schools just do their
police
own
themselves,
thing.
do their own thing.
But make their own rules and police themselves.
Didn't they just come up with something else? He said now they're proposing transfer portal windows. You have to be announced by, is April to May, and then the other one was November to December or something. They just announced that.
How does that work?
I guess you don't have to transfer, but your name has to be in the portal by that time, like that time frame, if you want to be transferred before, like in the upcoming season. So if you're April, May, if you're in that one, then you can play at the start of football season. If you get in November, December, Liberty,
that ain't gonna work.
You get in November, December, then you can start the team in January for winter conditioning and spring ball.
But I mean, how many times, Braylon, were you in a circumstance where, you just said you had to keep receipts just so you would know what was going on, so the wrong person wasn't paying for a meal?
Compliance I hated compliance office. I don't want to say I hate the person in compliance office. I hated the compliance office because of stuff like that. That happened with my dad too. My dad technically is considered a donor.
Right.
Went to Michigan. We had guys at the house all the time because since I lived so close, I used to bring the guys down for family meals.
Yep.
Guys miss home. I bring you down for a meal. Dad take you out. Kids struggle. They didn't have money. My dad, whatever, got flagged. I had to have a conversation. And then next thing, my 21st birthday party. Had a big blowout birthday party downtown Detroit. They promoted it on the radio, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Got called into the compliance office the morning of the event. They told me, they said, hey, you can't go to that party. I said, what are you talking? It's my 21st birthday party. They said, well, they promote on the radio. They're going to make money. They're making money off your name. I said, I ain't making no money. I'm just going to turn 21. I don't even drink. Like, it was just one thing after another. I remember my mom got a new car, and they saw the new car, and somebody reported that. And then they said, oh, well, why did your mom have a Cadillac? I said, because my mom got a job. I said, because my dad has a job. I said, because my stepmom has a job. Because my stepdad has a job. It was always something with compliance back then. I hated compliance and the NCAA.
And that's why we're here in the Wild Wild West right now, because they made it so hard for people to live. When you couldn't spend $2 on an omelet at the ESPN cafeteria when you're hosting a player, the NCAA deserves this. They do. Mark Emmert deserves this.
The last thing I'll say about it is all you need to know about the NCAA and to how they got here is if you want to feel something, if you want to feel the emotion of what was going on in the NCAA and what they were allowing to happen, look no further than when UConn men win the national championship and they interview, was it Shabazz Napier that had the comment, or was it Kemba Walker? It was either Shabazz Napier or Kemba Walker. They just interviewed this young man after winning a national championship. This should be the most fun moment in his collegiate career. So far, it should be the most fun moment of his life because he can't remember his birth. First thing he talks about is not his teammates. He ain't talk about winning. He ain't talk about other team. He ain't talk about the moment. He said, I'm going to Disney World. He said, NCAA, we got to get it wrong. I don't have any money in my pocket. to eat lunch. I don't have any money for miscellaneous expenses, including gas and other things. I'm hungry. We're hungry. You saw the Tennessee kids stealing and flipping laptops in 2008 or 2009. NCAA has put himself in a situation. How do you have a kid win a national championship? And the first thing that he says, I'm hungry. NCAA got to do something. That's nuts. I felt every part of that.
Look at the Fab Five, what they did, and they tried to get done. I mean, here's another sidebar to the NCAA. I don't know if you guys heard this today, but the NCAA just lifted the restrictions on who can sponsor a bowl game. Now anybody can sponsor a bowl game. I'm talking about Pornhub. I'm talking about Greenhouse.
I go to that bowl game.
I'm talking about Greenhouse. I'm talking about it's all the Johnny Walker Bowl.
Liberty Mutual?
Liberty Mutual.
The Liberty Bibbity Bowl.
Liberty Bibbity Bowl. It is all.
Wait a minute.
It's all out there.
Pornhub is going to sponsor.
They probably will. They wanted to.
Down.
The Pornhole Motor.
I'm down.
Pornhole.
I'm just
Pornhub Motor City Bowl.
The Porno Bowl.
The Pornhub Bowl. Who don't want to go to that? How about
Adam Beydoun will be first in line.
How about the goodie bag from that freaking bowl game?
Oh, man.
Who wouldn't want to go to that? Guys, I want to jump back into the NFL next. Ryan Tannehill. Ryan Tannehill says it's not his job to mentor Malik Willis.
It's also not his job to get to the Super Bowl, apparently.
There are current NFL players now openly calling him out. I want to get Braylon's reaction to that. And what if he heard that from a teammate? What does this mean for Ryan Tannehill moving forward? We'll do that next. But first, a message from Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. It is no secret that we broadcast live here each and every day from the headquarters of Lady Jane's worldwide headquarters in Birmingham, Michigan. Definitely awesome. Get off the air, get tidied up, look lined up, look all good. All you got to do is head on into a Lady Jane's, walk in, sign in, sit down, and before you know it, you are handsome and clean. Ooh-wee. Lady Jane's open 7 days a week, 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. Walk in anytime. Get a haircut from one of their talented stylists, a precision haircut from one of their talented stylists. Walk in anytime. It's wicked awesome.
Wicked.
It took exploring 50 different formulas and hosting countless taste tests, but we believe Gypsy Vodka is the smoothest vodka on the market. Don't believe us? Ask the owners.
We're Mike and Adam Kazanowski with High Five Spirits Distillery. We're in close to about 1,200 locations throughout Michigan. We wanted to create a brand that was geared more towards freedom, love, adventure, and at the end of the day, we really wanted to tell a story that inspired other people to take risks, follow their dreams, whatever that might be.
The official sticker partner of Woodward Sports. When it comes to stickers and signage, think Sticker Genius. We support this local Detroit business, and we are excited to show you our latest project, the Planet Fitness Studio from Sticker Genius. If you need custom stickers, wall graphics, window graphics, and plenty more, reach out to our friends at Sticker Genius. We at Woodward Sports couldn't be any happier with the service they provided us. They were quick, easy to deal with, and super professional. Head to stickergenius.com today.
Woodward Sports Network. If you watch it on YouTube, we certainly appreciate that. Go ahead and hit that like button for us. That would be fantastic. 24,000 subscribers, 24,500 subscribers on YouTube Sports. We are continuing to grow as a network. Guys in the morning doing a great job, 8 to 10.
Yes.
Adam, Terry, Maddie doing a great job.
How does Adam have that much energy in the morning?
Energy. Lots of coffee.
He's dialed in from 8 to 10, man. It's a spectacle to watch.
No doubt about it. And then, of course, Neil Rule, Darren McCarty in the afternoon. They got Spence Daddy as well. Spence is
one half
in there
of the heavyweights.
So a lot of exciting things happening here at Woodward Sports Network. Then, of course, us, 2 to 4, Ryan Ermanni, Braylon Edwards, Tom Mazawey.
A lot of fun last night, Maz, Ryan on the group text. That Woodward Sports Network group text, man.
So
you guys were out of your minds.
That was a ton of fun.
I was late to the party. I woke up and I saw this. I was like, damn, what thread did I miss?
Yeah. There was a lot of
I saw a lot of smoke.
There was a lot of smoke. There were a lot of jokes It was good family jokes. That's one thing you know about us at Woodward Sports Network. Like, we're family. Because you're letting the jokes fly and nobody felt any type of way.
No doubt about it, guys. I want to bring up this Ryan Tannehill situation. It's kind of been taken off a little bit over the last couple of days. First and foremost, let me play for you what he said, which has kind of caused so much of a stir here in the National Football League and in the sports world, really.
In a quarterback room, in the same room, we're competing against each other. We're watching the same tape. We're doing the same drills. I don't think it's my job to mentor him, but if he learns from me along the way, then that's a great thing.
I don't think it's my job to mentor him. That's really what kind of kicked off this whole thing, right? I don't think it's my job to mentor him. And you've got a lot of reaction about that. Kurt Warner almost immediately went to Twitter and said, I don't understand why. I will never understand the I'm not here to mentor the next guy mentality. So for all you young quarterbacks that need a mentor, DM me and I'll be that guy. Happy to help in any way I can.
I'd rather have Warner than Tannehill.
Well, there's no doubt about that. There's no doubt about that. But you can relate it to your own life and your own career as well. I do think it's incumbent upon employees, and whether you're training your replacement or you're not, I mean, just to be a professional at whatever you're doing. Yeah. And kind of bring that person along. It's not that person's. It's not Malik Willis's fault that the Tennessee Titans drafted him in the 3rd round.
Can I say something before we get into this?
Let me just ask the question. This is a question. Hey, Ryan Tannehill, who hurt you? Who hurt you? Who hurt this man for him to act like this? Go ahead, man.
It not only happens in football or any sports, it happens in our jobs.
Well, that's kind of why I related it.
It happened to me before I got into this business. I was trying to get into this business. I'm not going to tell you what venue I went to or what booth I was able to go in and talk to somebody. And they weren't very nice.
Just tell us, come on.
No,
you can't do that.
I can't do it. No, I can't.
Is it local?
Of course.
Oh, okay.
It was local, and he's not. That's all I'm going to say.
So here's the thing I want to talk about Ryan Tannehill. Thing one, I've never seen a starting quarterback act this way about a 3rd round drafted quarterback. Let's start there.
Because he's not a 3rd round pick. He's 1st round talent.
I set you
number
up,
2 overall talent.
I set you up for the oop. You know why he's acting like this? One. Let's see, 2019. Oh, you guys had a lead in the AFC Conference Championship. Oh, you blew it, Ryan Tannehill. 2020, Baltimore Ravens. Oh, that's another L for you, Ryan Tannehill. Oh, what happened last year? First play of the damn game, interception, Ryan Tannehill. You know your job's on the line. You know you're probably not going to be the starting quarterback in week 1 in September. So that's why you act like this. The fact that he has to act like that or make this comment says more about him and his insecurity as a quarterback. Somebody helped you along the way, and we talked about this yesterday. You didn't even start off as a quarterback at Texas A&M. You moved from wide receiver to quarterback, had quarterback experience. Somebody helped you along the way. Somebody gave you a little word of advice when you were in Miami, fluttering and floundering and trying to figure things out. Somebody helped you. One of those quarterbacks on that staff didn't mind watching film with you, didn't mind going over extra routes with you. Like, at the end of the day, this is what you do. You pay it forward. Somebody taught me wide receiver. I remember running routes with Coach Bobo. Bobo went to Western Michigan, played in the USFL, and when I was 12 years old, he taught me how to play wide receiver. I owe Bobo for teaching me how to play wide receiver. He helped me out along the way. Marquise Walker was leaving Michigan. I was a freshman. He didn't have to help me. Marquise taught me how to run routes whenever he could. You help people in this sport. Shouldn't you want to make your team the best team that it can be? Shouldn't the goal be for the Tennessee Titans to be the best team that they could be? If the Tennessee Titans are better with Malik Willis, well, hell, you'll get paid somewhere else. But in the meantime, man, you got to man up. This is little boy stuff.
Here's what happened with Tannehill, and this is what he said prior to that speech that you heard. He was in a very dark place the last year, and it was because of those interceptions and how he pissed away those games. He had a number 1 seeded Titans, and he threw that game away to the Bengals. Bengals go to the Super Bowl. That Titans team could have won the whole damn thing had they kept rolling. You got Derrick Henry, first game back. He gets rolling.
64
Look how good they were at the beginning of the year. And they hung in there with Tannehill as their quarterback. And he said, I was in a dark place. It took me a long time to get out of it. And I'm looking forward to going to the next season. Then someone brought up Malik Willis.
But here's the thing about that, too. Nobody told you to do the press conference. You knew before going to that press conference that you had a gripe or a grudge on your shoulder because of them drafting Malik Willis, because you know that he's not a third-round talent, like my brother Ryan Ermanni says, because he has first-round talent. You knew that you felt this way about the situation. So why agree to do that interview? This is voluntary off-season right now,
How
Ryan
about just
Tannehill.
not say those words?
I'm saying, or if that's
don't say the words.
I agree with you, and we're both saying the same thing. Because I'm like, if that's how you feel, don't do the interview. And then if you're gonna do the interview, do what Matt says. Don't say those words.
Well, I want to ask you, Braylon, specifically, what does this mean for other guys in the NFL, and why is this such a big deal with Tannehill? Was it a big deal when Aaron Rodgers didn't want to do it with Jordan Love? I think so. I think it's one of the reasons why we don't like Aaron Rodgers right now, because he was such a jerk to Jordan Love. We've seen it other instances of quarterbacks not doing this in the past. Alex just put up the tweet from Kyle Pitts, which Kyle Pitts called Tannehill out today, a player on another team, which is very rare that you see that. Saying, sheesh, who did you like that? Who did you wrong like that?
Who hurt you?
And I wonder if Ryan Tannehill loses a little bit of shine, because no offense, but he's not Aaron Rodgers. He's not one of these other guys. He's not Tom Brady, who did it to Jimmy
No offense,
G.
he's not Kirk Cousins.
But Tom Brady did it to Jimmy G. Aaron Rodgers did it to Jordan Love. Brett Favre did it to Aaron Rodgers. Why are we making such a big deal out of it for Ryan Tannehill?
How about Montana and Young?
Montana and Young.
We're making a big deal out of it because they did it in the way in which professional football players handle it. If that's how you feel, Brett Favre, Aaron Rodgers, you don't tell the media, I ain't training him. I'm not going to be his mentor, blah, blah, blah. You just show him attitude and you act like a baby. That's what those guys did. They did it, and they didn't speak to the media about it. They didn't go out and say, well, it's not my job to mentor the guy. Well, I was in the dark places. I threw the intercept. That's why your ass not about to be starting quarterback. See, the way he did it is different. He spoke up very loud, very clear, and everybody in the nation and in the world heard what he said. I'm not here to mentor Malik Willis. Those other guys did it differently. When Aaron Rodgers was mad, because they didn't talk to him about drafting Jordan Love. He didn't necessarily say anything about Jordan Love. He didn't say he wasn't going to mentor him, which we knew he wasn't. But he was mad because they drafted him and they didn't talk to him about it. He went out and vocally said it yesterday for everybody to see it on Twitter for the next year.
Again, I'll bring it back to me. me. In this business, which I've been in 26 years, I have been trained by the best people, and I have trained a lot of the people that you're listening to on the radio and have podcasts of their own. And what happened to Tom Mazawey? Well, I'm not in the radio business anymore, and I'm thankfully here at Woodward Sports, thanks to Chad Johnson and everybody here. But when you train, I always had my arms were always open for everybody. I never screwed another guy, another girl. I always wanted them to be the best that they can. I know I just said the wrong freaking thing now. Just like you were high yesterday.
No.
You're so high.
Screwed another guy.
I hope not.
I'm screwed.
I never screwed another guy.
Why do I do these things?
I'll give you a quick one before we go to commercial. I go to Seattle. 2012 is my last, second to last year. Go to Seattle. They have Doug Baldwin, Sidney Rice, Golden Tate. I knew Sidney Rice before I got there. I'm talking to Golden Tate before the season starts, and this is in training camp. We go to this pool hall. First of all, Golden Tate's really good at everything. Like, he's bold. He's really good at everything. But I'm talking to him, and I'm talking to a guy that's legitimately, I'm fighting for the starting job. Like, he and I are both fighting for the X position. Doug Baldwin was a starting Z, and then Sidney. So I'm fighting this guy. But he's asking me advice. I'm telling him advice. Like, I'm helping him. I'm giving him the tools and the nuggets that people gave me. As I'm literally thinking in my head, like, damn, I'm like helping this guy like get the edge on me. But who cares? Like, the edge is on the field. If I go out there on that practice field and Golden Tate's better than me, it don't matter if I want the job or I'm giving him nuggets. Just be a good dude. I took the ass whooping on the ping pong table. I might as well give him some advice too.
That's all it's about, guys. Hey, Steve Kerr extremely critical of Dylan Brooks of the Memphis Grizzlies last night. I want to play for you that sound.
He was pissed on that on-court interview.
Yeah,
that was a perfect time to get him.
Did Dylan Brooks break the code last night? What is the code?
Yeah.
We'll have that for you next. But first, a message from Chili Peppers Tanning.
All right, join the Peppers Club at Chili Peppers Tanning. You will have the best deals. They'll beat all competitors by $5. Chili Peppers has the hottest deals, the hottest bulbs, and the darkest tans. Your vitamin D headquarters, 26 locations, one right down the street here on Woodward. More on the way. Check it out at chilipepperstanning.com.
Hi, my diamonds. It's Crystal with an X. You want to get hot and perfect like me? Here's my super easy routine. Drink at least a gallon of water before you wake up. Attach a weight to everything in your house. Hello? Sell your car and just sprint everywhere. Scream when you exhale.
Don't follow Crystal with an X. Do your own thing at Planet Fitness with tons of equipment and free fitness training in our clean and spacious clubs. Join now for just $10 a month and cancel anytime.
We all know Cade should have been Rookie of the Year, but you know the saying, Detroit versus everybody.
Uh-oh, Cunningham all by himself.
Woodward Sports.
Woodward Sports Network, Ryan Ermanni, Braylon Edwards, Tom Mazawey, Alex Mayer, Sam Flannel. Sam, what do you do in the summer months?
I'm going to have to buy some short sleeve flannels and, wear the cutoff more often. I'm going to have to bring that back week after week after week after week. But I went on Amazon. They have some for sale short sleeve flannels. I'm going to have to get on that.
It's a very intriguing look, and I don't know if I'd recognize you without one, to be honest with you. I like it.
I mean, it's 53 consecutive work days, so you probably don't even remember a time where I didn't wear a flannel.
I don't know who you are if you don't walk in with a flannel.
The question is, will you wear one on your wedding day?
No.
No. I mean, let's not be ridiculous, man.
Well, I think it's pretty cool.
Could be cool. Could be different.
Yeah. Set the trend, Sammy.
Now, I just want to get my bearings straight here.
Get your bearings straight.
I cannot show the play, can I?
What's that?
The Dylan Brooks
Gary
play.
Payton II.
I cannot show the play because of...
Why don't you do it with Braylon? Do it live in the middle of the floor.
All right.
So,
Gary Payton going up.
Get up, Bray.
They can't hear.
No, leave because I got it. Go ahead. No, I need a microphone. That's why. That's a bad idea.
Hey, take my mic.
Started off good.
Bad idea. And I'm dizzy today for some reason. I don't know what's going on.
I'm sorry.
Don't fall.
Damn. So
the ambulance truck was already over there. So
Gary Payton going up, and Dylan Brooks comes and just whacks him over the head. I mean, uncalled for, non-basketball play, ejected. Steve Kerr not happy. Here's Steve Kerr's reaction.
That was intentional to try to hurt him.
I don't know if it was intentional, but it was dirty. And, playoff basketball it's supposed to be physical. Everybody's going to compete. Everybody's going to fight for everything. But there's a code in this league. There's a code that players follow, where you never put a guy's season/career in jeopardy by taking somebody out in midair and clubbing him across the head and ultimately fracturing Gary's elbow. This is a guy who's been toiling the last 6 years trying to make it in this league. Finally found a home, just playing his butt off this year. In the playoffs, this should be the time of his life. And guy comes in, whacks him across the head in midair. He broke the code. Dylan Brooks broke the code. That's how I see it.
Dylan Brooks didn't break any code. What happened was the third best guard defender in the NBA just went down for the Golden State Warriors. Steve Kerr's thinking about not having him against Ja Morant for the rest of those playoffs. If you see the play, first thing Steve Kerr says, I don't know if it was intentional, but it was dirty. You can't be unintentional and be dirty. Like, if you're going to say it's a dirty play, then it has to be intentional. You can't say, I don't know if it was intentional, but it was dirty. He's not a dirty player. You said it's not an intentional play, so it's not a dirty play. What it was a playoff play. Dylan Brooks was trying to set the tone, and what happened was bad circumstances. What it was a very reckless play because you knew that the momentum of, Gary Payton II was going forward. You knew the angle that he was going on. Like, if you bumped and missed, you knew he was going to fall forward. The other thing with that, if he doesn't try to brace his fall with his left hand, which is his shooting hand, which is going to be even worse for him in the recovery process, and break his elbow, if he just falls down, it's a hard fall, he gets up and shoot that, nobody's talking about this. See, what took it to the next level is he got injured on that play, a serious injury. A serious injury. That wasn't a dirty play. That wasn't an intentional play. It was a reckless play, but it was not a dirty play.
Two things that you said that I wanted to jump in on.
I agree, by the way.
And I disagree with you both on two parts of this. One, an injury happened because anytime there's a player that's in the air, that's dangerous. When you're in the air and somebody comes and whacks you in the head, an injury doesn't happen every time, but that is when it is most likely for an injury to occur. He was literally turned all the way around after the hit. That's how much worse. And I'm watching the injury again. I wish we could show it, but because of YouTube restrictions, we can't show it. I mean, he's turned around. Dillon Brooks is behind him, has no opportunity to make the play whatsoever, and swipes him across the head as hard as he can. So whether it's a code or not, and Steve Kerr talks about when you're trying to play hard, you're trying to play physical.
He broke the code,
but
who does he coach? He coaches Draymond Green.
And I do understand.
Broke the code.
But I think there's a little bit something extra here with Gary Payton because of Gary Payton's story. This is not Gary Payton, the Hall of Famer. This is Gary Payton.
I don't think it matters.
I do think it matters.
No, the guy's trying to defend the game. Put it this way, Brian. Just side note. You're a Bad Boys fan.
I understand that.
That wouldn't even be a foul probably in the Bad Boys
Perhaps,
era.
but you know what? There's a lot of things that happened in the late 80s, early 90s
It's a different
that would be
era. I agree
out
with you.
of
It's a different
context
era.
now and not good. You probably wouldn't be on the radio if you were saying some of the things that you could say in the 80s and 90s on the radio. You'd be canceled already.
I agree with you.
That said, I'm a Warriors guy.
I
wanted
understand
them to
that, but
win.
what I'm saying is this matters. Of course, Gary Payton, a good defensive player, but don't you feel for the guy?
Of course.
This is not the Hall of Famer, Gary Payton. This is his son who has, for the last 6 years, fought and clawed and been in the G League and made the $50,000 a year and done all those things and fought his way and had to live up to that name. And now he's finally got a home, and that's how you're going to go out.
First of all, look,
I think that sucks.
I appreciate his story, and it does suck. But guess what? This is the NBA playoffs. I don't care about Gary Payton, Sean Payton. I don't care. You can go down. I'm trying to beat you. It doesn't matter if it's Gary Payton Sr., Gary Payton Jr., Gary Payton III, Sean Payton. It does not matter. I'm trying to win the NBA playoffs. I'm trying to do everything that I can. And I don't think it was a dirty play. Look, if you want to talk about that, you knew you had pursuit behind you. You knew you were in the middle of the lane, and you went up with that soft-ass layup. Dunk it. Put 2 feet on the ground, go up for the dunk, go up strong and dunk it. Because if he puts 2 feet on the ground and he goes up like the guy he's playing against in Ja Morant and gets a dunk, he makes the dunk and it's an and one. Now, I'm sorry that he got injured because he does have a story. He's a great player. He's a really good player, and it was, like I said, a reckless play. It was a very reckless play on the part of Dillon Brooks, and he did not deserve to get injured because of it. But with that being said, I'm trying to win the freaking playoffs. They blew game one. They knew that this was a serious game. That happened with 9 minutes and 30 seconds left in the first quarter. They were trying to show you the urgency that they knew it was time to play. It's NBA playoff basketball. Get a man a break.
Let me say something. Side note. Freaking Ja Morant. I'm just going to use the name. He's the Michael Jordan of this era. And I'm going to say this.
Explain.
He gets the ball. What? He ain't giving the ball up. And you're not stopping him 9 out of 10 times. When he won that game for the 47 points aside, he is the boss on that team. He is that team. If they get another player or two, they're going to be dangerous in the West for years to come. He's top 3 in the NBA.
So Ja Morant scored 47 points last night. It's now multiple times in his playoff career, albeit how young it is, twice, that he scored 45 or more points. Do you know how many people his age or younger have scored multiple games of 45 points?
3.
Now 3.
Now 3, including him. LeBron James,
and Kobe Bean Bryant.
This kid is I knew they weren't losing last night, and it was killing me.
That's why I don't understand. Like, I get the size thing, but if you could redraft that draft, are you still taking Zion Williamson over Ja Morant? You're going to have Tim McCormick has come on this, and I respect Tim McCormick. Jalen Rose has said the same thing. You have said. I have a hard time believing, knowing what we know about Ja Morant, that he wouldn't be the #1 pick by the New Orleans Pelicans.
I still would take Zion Williamson, and this is why. Every time Ja Morant jumps his skinny butt up in the air, I'm always thinking about Derrick Rose. I'm always thinking about Russell Westbrook. All that jumping, he's an average shooter. Zion's a better shooter than him. If you want to look at stats, I still would take Zion because every time Zion goes up, I know 1, he's going to make the basket, 2, he's going to make the free throw, and I'm not worrying about him when he lands. Every time Ja Morant goes up, I'm literally crossing my fingers and I'm praying. With that game last night, Ja Morant had a great game. Great game. He's had a couple bad ones in this series, in this playoffs as well. Keep in mind, he's had 3 games where he was under 19 points. 47, shoulders, but amazing. And they still, all that, and they only won by 5.
Because they're not as good as the Warriors.
It's not that. I understand that, but I'm just telling you to put things in perspective before we lose sight of what's really going to happen. All of that, Clay and Steph shot 3 for 23 from three-point line yesterday. They will never.
That ain't gonna happen.
They will never do that again. Draymond Green gets kicked out the game. Gary Payton II gets injured in the beginning of the game. That ain't happening again. So 47. You know what? You better buckle up because you're going to need to score 60 to win this next one.
Tigers at home right now. Game 1 of a doubleheader. They are now starting off a set of 30 games in the next 27 days. I want to ask you how important this stretch is to the rest of the season. Is this a make or break portion of the schedule? We'll do that next. But first,
quick question. Let me ask you. How were your feelings when Ja put Jordan Poole in that blender?
Hey, man, I love Ja Morant. I love Ja Morant. I'm obsessed with him.
He shook him so bad, he shook him back into the play.
Well, Jordan Poole's never been mistaken for a guy who can play defense.
I feel you, but he shook him so bad, he went from one side back to the other side and almost made the play.
Hell of a player offensively, though, I'll tell you that. Jordan Poole, I mean, man, if there's a lot of young guys. Okay, so Cintron, message from Cintron.
Summer of Cintron is here. Now Cintron available at Kroger. That's right. They start off in LCA, then Birmingham Roast, and now we got them into Kroger. Make sure you pick up some while you're shopping. 2 for $4. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. 2 for $4 for the energy drink. They are $3.50 a can. You're getting them for $2.50. Check this out, man. It's the summer. It's time to party. Premium beverages for premium lifestyles. Drink it, live it. It's Cintron.
At Wing Snob, staying humble's not our forte. We just have better wings. We're back at it again with our crispy golden brown fries and our famous boneless wings. Juicy, tender, hormone-free chicken. Your favorite signature sauces with no bone. Just when you thought Wing Snob couldn't get any better. Order online at wingsnob.com today. Wing Snob. We just have better wings.
Get a shot up. This is for the win. All of Detroit's sports teams live on Woodward. All of Detroit's sports coverage lives on Woodward Sports. Driving the best in Detroit sports coverage.
Hey, it's Mads for Big Boy. The Signature Buffet is back weekends, 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. Treat yourself every weekend. Right now at your local Big Boy, enjoy your favorites. 2 kinds of eggs, bacon, sausage, Polish sausage, waffles, hotcakes, French toast, fruit, and much more. Get to your local Big Boy. Tell them Woodward Sports sent you.
Guys, Tigers on the field right now taking on the Pittsburgh Pirates. Game 1 of a true doubleheader situation right now. Tigers lead at 3-2, bottom of the 7th. 2 outs, runner on third. So they've got Pittsburgh here, then they go on the road, Houston, Oakland, Baltimore, Tampa, Cleveland, Minnesota. I mean, the Minnesota Twins are wrecking ball right now. 10 wins in the last 11 games. They got the Yankees in this mix as well. 30 games in the next 27 days. They better get this thing figured out, and they better get it figured out quickly because last year we saw them turn a 7-14 record into a 9-24 start. They go on to win 4. They have winning records in 4 different months last year. and still finish with an under 500 record. They can't do that again this year. I mean, this is so incredibly important for them to kind of tread water here, and somebody's got to get hot. Who's going to get hot here?
Yeah, somebody's got to get hot. The one thing you do kind of like about them having these 30 games in 27 days is it gives players a little bit more chance to play. It gives other players. I look at a guy like Akil Baddoo. Akil Baddoo is going to play more today and twice today. He's going to play in both games. Austin Meadows switches DH with Miggy today. Miggy plays one game. Austin plays one. So I think the big thing is, like you said, they got to get hot, man. The bats haven't been flying. You haven't been hearing anything. You haven't been hearing any pops. A lot of misses, to be honest. Not even making contact, man. So that's something they got to do. Bullpen's good, but starting pitcher, it's not going well.
Alex Faedo gets his first start today, and I know it'll be old by the time you hear it. Hopefully he's going to do well. Casey Mize, we haven't heard about him. He's been shut down. These are the arms you were looking to get. Tarek Skubal, Matt Manning. These are the guys that you needed. This is why Vegas knows, man.
Right.
This is why they know. 74 wins last year, and what they put them this year at 78 and a half. They know, man.
What did I tell you guys?
What did I
tell you guys?
You know, it's
so I'm afraid that's what you're going to get. You're going to get an under 78 team.
And it's one of those things this year, too, where the offense is so poor this year. Who's going to get hot in the next 10 games? Take the next 7 to 10 games. Who's going to hit 400 over the next 7 to 10 games? They don't have anybody that starts the season in April. They got people trying to start the season hopefully in May, but the season starts in April, not May.
I hope Javi Baez could stay healthy and stay on the field and do what he's supposed to do, not strike out as much. But, you know, that's his MO. He strikes out a lot. But you know what? He was the hottest hitter in the first week of the season before he went down with that thumb injury. Hopefully he can gain it back. We thought he might have had a groin sprain, a hamstring strain last week, but it turned out all right. He's still playing. Keep our fingers crossed that the catcher starts to hit. Barnhart, Haas has got to play better. You need defense. That's what your A.J. Hinch is saying. We're losing because of our bad defense.
Yeah, Tucker Barnhart, one of 3 players on Detroit Tigers team that are over 300. Everybody else, the averages are bad.
I'm going to give you a number right now in the next 30 games, all right?
Okay.
And I don't know if we'll be able to keep track of this. No, 30 games in 27 days.
Will it be 29 games? Because this is 30?
No, this game included.
You're counting, okay.
I'm counting this game included. 30 games in the next 27 days. And blame baseball for this and the players, by the way, because they had to get all 162 games in. So that is why you're here.
Yeah. Tigers will play the most doubleheaders in the league. Just let you know.
17 and 13.
Okay.
When we go back a month from now, I think for them to be in it,
I like that.
They need to go 17 and 13 in this 30-game stretch. And you're still under 500, but you're close. At the end of 30 games, at the end of the next 27 days, so essentially at the end of the month of May, they're 3 games under 500. That's what I'm going for. 17 and 13 in this 30 games.
Yeah, we could talk about hell. You know what? Since you want to go, how about they go 29-1? It doesn't matter what we want them to go. They got to be able to back it up. They got to be able to get the bats on the ball. If you can't put the ball in play, if you can't get to home base a couple times, home plate, you're not going to do anything because teams are scoring points on them and they're not putting up the points.
Here's a side note for baseball.
Not to mention the goofy errors.
And the Detroit fans won't give a damn, but I'll throw it out there anyway. This is the first time in baseball history that the Yankees, Mets, Dodgers, and Angels are all in first place at the same time.
Oh, wow.
Look at it, and I know it's the 2 big New York teams and it's the 2 big California teams. And high payrolls on our full teams. That's just the way it goes. Right now, it's early, and they're playing very well.
Paying off.
You better take a picture of that because 2 of those teams won't be up there for very much longer.
You don't think?
2 of those teams ain't staying up there.
Who's dying out?
One's the Angels and one's the Mets.
You're killing my Mets, huh?
Angels and Mets. Yankees, of course, and then obviously the Dodgers got what did they spend? $200 billion.
Yeah, Yankees are playing over their head, if you ask me.
Yeah, I think so too. 11 straight wins.
The Yankees?
I seen a couple of losses. They've won 11 straight games. 2 games that I watched them play, they lost.
How about John Sterling?
Oh, do we have video of that?
I don't think we do.
Oh my God, he did it again.
He did it again.
I watched
He called a home run.
Then he said, and you see, he doesn't throw the ball back to the catcher.
Oh my
then Susie
God.
Waldman says, that's because he caught it, John.
I mean, at what point?
That was funny.
Sir, I love you, John Sterling, but my goodness.
When you watched that play, did you notice something about that play? Did you notice Giancarlo Stanton.
He's not a great outfielder.
He has no athletic.
No.
He's 6'5". He's built like Hercules. Like I was
Hercules.
It was funny because I'm like, I didn't even listen to the announcer at the time. I just watched Giancarlo. I'm like, how you 6'5" and barely got up there to catch that ball?
You compared him to Kirby Puckett.
I know what I said was I've seen Kirby Puckett put his whole waistline.
I know. I saw
at the
it.
top
I caught
of the
that.
man. How you that unathletic 6'5"?
That's why they were laughing. They were laughing at him when he caught the ball.
He looked awkward. He's like,
We'll try to get that cup feel before the day's
I
up.
love
Get him at first base, man.
Just to tie in sports gambling for a minute. Harold on the YouTube chat.
Yeah.
Mets costing me my damn parlay right now.
They're down 4-0.
Right?
There you go.
I mean, you think about that.
7-0.
Angels got beat yesterday.
Kevin Durant always talks about that all the time.
Oh, yeah.
About what?
parlays.
You didn't hit the parlay. And then, of course, Klay Thompson the other day.
Misses 2 freaking
Warriors
free throws.
-2.
Yeah.
Klay Thompson misses 2 free throws. You make 1, you get a push. He makes 2, which he would do 90% of the time.
He missed both.
And he missed them both.
How
And
much
it's
of this
like-
is on purpose?
I thought about that, Braylon.
Yeah, it depends who they have.
I thought about that.
And I don't think they're doing it on purpose in terms of because they're trying to bet or they're trying to get paid. I think they're doing it on purpose to like F up people's parlays.
It's hard not to think like that.
That's all you talk about.
I
That's
know.
all we talk about now is betting. Lines,
It's
lines,
disgusting.
lines.
But if you look back at
It's
that Klay,
disgusting.
Klay needed to hit those 2 free throws because John Morant layup beats him.
Exactly.
I mean, he's not trying to lose that game.
I feel like Kevin Durant has.
I've seen KD.
I feel like Kevin Durant at times has known what the line is and screwed with you.
I guarantee you're right.
No, I agree with that.
I guarantee
Because
you're
he
right.
talks about it so much.
All the time.
He is aware of it. If you're not aware of it, it's not even top of mind to think
Correct.
about. But he knows what that number is every game.
I'm gonna tell you like this: the 2 number 1 trolls on social media, as it relates to entertainment or sports, number 1 is 50 Cent, and a close number 2 is Kevin Durant. He loves to troll everybody on everything. It's almost entertaining to watch.
Hey, gang, if you are watching on YouTube, please hit that like button for us. Let's try to get over 200 likes by the time we are up in the next 25 minutes. Like that. Hit that like button for us. Subscribe to Woodward Sports on YouTube. 24,000 subscribers on our YouTube channel now. Getting back to the NFL next, man.
Did you see what Pro Football Focus said about the Lions draft? Again,
A+.
they doubled down. Wait till you hear. We're going to bring it back for you. Wait till you hear what Pro Football Focus, that's Chris Collinsworth and those guys, and they do a hell of a job. Talking about the draft that the Lions did. And Brad Holmes yesterday saying that Jared Goff is the guy. I guess that's just the way it's going to be.
But first, a message from Guardian Alarm. They're your local security experts, have been for over 90 years. Guardian Alarm keeps you safe and gives you peace of mind. Whether you're at home or on the road, their 24/7 local monitoring makes sure what is important to you is safe. All you got to do is call this number, 1-800-STAY-OUT for peace of mind. That number again, 1-800-STAY-OUT right now. Let them know Woodward Sports sent you. And they'll take care of you right then and there. We'll be right back. Ermanni and Edwards.
Woodward Sports Network, this is The Bottom Line.
He's going deep, right side. Oh, that is Edwards out there. He goes up in the air at the goal line.
Hey, it's Braylon Edwards here, wanting to welcome the sports marketing agency to Woodward Sports Network, to the family. Glad to have you guys. For the last decade, the sports marketing agency has literally leveraged athletes around issues such as mental health and substance abuse.
Glad that we can finally start trying to get the stigma off of mental health that's been there for all these years.
Detroit sports by Detroiters and for Detroiters. This is Detroit Sports Network. This is Woodward Sports.
Having a lot of fun on a Wednesday. Thanks for being along with us. Ryan, Ermanni, Braylon Edwards, Tom Mazawey. Guys, did you see what Brad Holmes said about Jared Goff? And I understand this is the way it's going. Jared Goff and, of course, CBS Sports and Adam Baydoun have let everybody know that only Tom Brady and Jared Goff have thrown for over 20,000 yards and surpassed 45 wins in the last 5 seasons. That's a list of 2. That is a pretty good list to be on.
Too many did it mostly for L.A.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's a great list to be on. Like, to be honest, you got to give him some kudos for that. And you can say what you want to say. It was Todd Gurley. It was Darren Donald. It was this. It was that. Like, that guy won games. That guy won some games. And you were the one giving him a lot of credit, so I have to give you the credit for actually making me realize that. Like, if you look where Brad Holmes comes from, Brad Holmes knows Jared Goff. Like, Brad Holmes was there when they drafted Jared Goff. Yep. He knows Jared Goff. He saw Jared Goff when Jared Goff went to the Super Bowl. He saw Jared Goff in that infamous game that we always talk about, the Rams versus the Chiefs. Monday Night Football should have been in Mexico City, but it didn't happen that way. It was in L.A. And now look what the Rams just did. If you're watching where he comes from, then pay close attention. What did the Rams do last year before the season started? Oh, they made a trade for a quarterback that can complete what they felt that they had. They thought that, you know what, we have enough of a foundation. All we need is the guy. The guy is Matt Stafford. Here, Detroit, take this. And Detroit took it. And they gave him Matt Stafford, and what happened? They won the Super Bowl. So if you're looking at it from that lens, and now Brad Holmes is here, Brad's like, look, I got to build this defense up. I'm going to build this defense up. I've put enough around Jared Goff to get me through this final year and actually give himself a chance to get an extension, because I believe in this. And then in 2 years from now, or 3 years from now, when we're really ready, when everything is really built up, when Jameis Williamson is going 1,500 yards a year and 17 touchdowns, 17, mark that number down. Now, I don't want to draft that guy. I want to go get a Matt Stafford. I want to go get Tom Brady. I know it's a free agency. I want to go get Russell.
We're following you.
Exactly. I want to go get Russell Wilson from Seattle. Hey, you know what? Here, take all this. Fleece is all you need. I'm going to take Russell Wilson for him because I know his pedigree. I know what he's capable of. That's the way that you're saying, not of the new NFL, but that's the people that come from this Rams tree, and that's Brad Holmes.
Do you think they would have won last year had they had Jared Goff?
No.
Who?
The Rams.
Hell no.
No.
Really?
No.
And that is why I believe that this team needs to develop their quarterback sooner rather than later.
What makes us smarter than Sean over there in L.A., Sean McVay and Les Snead? What makes us smarter?
What do you mean?
Than them?
I don't understand. I see what you're saying.
They got rid of
him. But we had Matthew Stafford here.
That's a great question
we
to
didn't
ask.
win. They won.
Right.
They gave us their winning quarterback. We gave them our losing quarterback. What? You follow what I'm saying?
Yeah, I am.
Or not really?
No, I am.
I do understand what you're saying.
I mean, they had the team.
Right.
Could they have won with Jared Goff under center?
They couldn't have, because you just look at players like at the end of the game.
Then why do we want them?
You look at I'm not talking about we want them. I'm telling you what they're building, how they're building it out. They're building it out with him right now for 3 years. They're building up the defense. They're building up the offensive weapons. They're trying to get Jameson Williams going. They're trying to do that, and then go. I'll stop. Go ahead.
No. You were making a great point.
Yeah.
You were making a great point. And what I'm going to respond to is this. You are essentially building up your team, every facet of your team.
Except the quarterback.
Offense, defense, special teams, to essentially look like the LA Rams team did last year.
Exactly.
And we're just saying that Jared Goff couldn't win a Super Bowl last year with that team.
But I think you're.
I mean, you said no too.
No, I don't. I'm not going back on my word.
So you're essentially the Detroit Lions are building their team to have everything be a finely tuned machine around Jared Goff. But we just said that, you know, if Jared Goff couldn't win last year with the Rams, what makes you think he can win in 2025 with the Detroit Lions?
2025, Jared Goff is not going to be the guy in 2025. They're literally using Jared Goff for the next 3 years. Like the next 3 years. He's out 1 year, one more year under contract?
No, he's got two. This one and two more. He's got $30 million, $31 million, $30 million.
That's right, but the cap hit is different. It's like
cap hit
it's
changes.
10-5. It's 10-5 and 5.
Cap hit changes after this year.
I'm telling you, like, at the end of the day, I just see what Brad Holmes is doing. Like, Brad Holmes is building everything around it. Jared Goff is good enough to get you through these 3 years. Lions aren't going to win a Super Bowl this year. Lions aren't going to win a Super Bowl next year. Now, maybe in 3 years, they're not going to win that. But you know what? If you got a quarterback that can get you there, if you put the right pieces around him, and you can be competitive, you can win the NFC North, you can get to the second round of the playoff, you know what? That's well and fine. And then when that quarterback is ready, when he's had enough of set team, I don't know who will be at that time. Now you go get him, you give 2 first rounds or however you want to do it.
How did they know that Stafford was the thing after what he did here?
You know what's so funny, Maz, though, as you say that? How many times did we want to vomit in our own mouths when national media would come here and do a Lions game on Thanksgiving or Monday Night Football or Sunday night, and you would hear the national guys just gush over Matthew Stafford, and we would sit here and want to puke in our mouths and hold it in there.
They never gushed when he was here.
No, but they did.
They did.
They gushed over him. And we're
Players
like,
too.
What do you mean? Are we watching the same guy? Are we watching the same game? These analysts would go nuts over how good Matthew Stafford was.
I think the big thing is with Matthew Stafford, if I could take a second and just kind of maybe glance it, is there was so much on Matthew Stafford's shoulders when he was here. There was a ton on his shoulders. Like, it was always, hey, you figure it out. You know, you get in the end zone. You be the guy to win the game. You be the guy to come back at the end of the game and blah, blah, blah. You be the guy to play through the collarbone injury. Like, there was a ton on him. There's no running game. There was a ton of offensive line was average. Just throw the ball to Calvin became a thing. All right, we know they're going to throw to Calvin 19 times. Like, that's fine. Let him have that, and we'll just cover everything else when we get to him. It was hard for him here. Every yard, every first down, every touchdown, every win, it just seemed like it took so much out of him. They made it so hard for him here in Detroit, and part of that was him too. I'm not taking it away from him. It wasn't just the Lions, him as well. When you watched him last year with the LA Rams, they made it easy for him. Even when he was losing games out there, it didn't seem like one of those Detroit losses where like game's over.
He had a bad stretch.
He had a bad stretch. They still had him in good games. They still put him in good spots. He's had a bad stretch. He started throwing pick sixes. He stopped trusting himself like the beginning of the year last year. He started turning into the Matt Stafford that we knew. And they were like, oh man, that Rams pick is starting to look a little good. And then because they made it easy, because of the offense, because of the flow, he was able to dig himself out the hole. Plus, he has a younger coach in Sean McVay. That's his homeboy. Sean was like, come on, man, I ain't bring you here for this bull. You know what? Let's go, man. Come on, baby. You know, this is LA. Let's have fun. And then he was able to go back and have fun. But the thing I look at it as, they made it easy for Matt Stafford last year. It was fun. It was easy. Like, even in that moment where he throws the 45-yard bomb to Cooper Kupp to set up the game-winning field goal against Tampa, and then which he says, oh, by the way, I snatched number 12 soul.
Well,
it was so smooth, and it was so easy on that play. It looked so flawless and so effortless. It's easy in LA. It was tough. Everything was hurt here.
I think you can win with Jared Goff. I like Jared Goff, but I don't know if you can win a Super Bowl 3 years from now with Jared Goff because.
Well, Braylon's saying, don't worry about 3 years.
All right,
just worry about getting through these next couple of years.
I would say, to be honest,
it's a great point, though,
Just worry about getting through the next 2 years. Don't worry about that third year.
Right.
We're not going to win the Super Bowl.
Worry about getting through the first 2 years. Maybe we get 8 wins this year. I'm not saying we are, but maybe you get 8 this year. Then maybe next year you're a playoff team. Now you got some decisions to make in that offseason of the third year, or even halfway through the second year.
If you win 8 games this year, do you extend Jared Goff?
You can't.
No, not at all.
You can't pay him $35 to $40 million.
Not at all.
You cannot do it and then ultimately keep the guys that are due for raises.
No.
What's going to happen to Amon-Ra 2 years from now? You think he's going to want to get paid? Not to mention,
let's see how he does in his second year.
I understand, but Sewell and all these guys are going to want to get paid. You're talking about down the road, 2, 3, 4 years down the road. I just don't understand how you can do it either way.
I also don't know how the Saints pulled off that what they did, which is $80 million over the cap and then $22 million under.
It's all just funny money. It's all just funny money.
It's all magic tricks.
That's all it is.
You got it.
Pro Football Focus loves the Lions draft. What do they call it, Maz? They called it franchise defining.
Oh,
Mike Renner on the Lions. This is via tailgate. This is a franchise defining draft, and we hope so, right? I mean, Jameson Williams could be the offensive rookie of the year, and Aiden Hutchinson could very well be the rookie defensive player of the year. He is the favorite to win that award.
Listen, this is why everybody's so excited about the Detroit Lions draft as it relates to Pro Football Focus, ESPN, Dan Orlovsky, and the list goes on. One, they got the best defensive player in the draft by grade, Aiden Hutchinson. It was easy, fell in their lap. They picked up their guy. They got their guy. Everybody had him rated the number one, and most people had him rated the number one player in the draft. Boom, behind Sauce Gardner. So bet you got that. 2, this is the move. They saw something they haven't seen in Detroit before. They saw Detroit get aggressive. They moved up 20 spots to take a wide receiver that most had as the number 1 wide receiver in the draft if he didn't have an ACL injury. That's why. Now, after that, look at the rest of the draft. At 46, they passed on the Kobe Dean and take Josh Pascal. We'll see how that works up. Kirby Joseph, which is a safety issue they need, put him next to Tracy Walker. I like the pick is what it is. James Mitchell, 177, an injured tight end. 188, Malcolm Brogdon. His basketball player. Yep. Malcolm Rodriguez out of Oklahoma State. We know he's going to be a special teams guy, good guy. We'll see how that works out. James Houston, edge out of Jackson State. We know he's a Deion guy, blah, blah. Like, you can't tell. Like, no one in Pro Football Focus is talking about these guys as why they ranked it an A++. They ranked it an A++. You got the number 2 player overall, number 1 defensive player in Aiden Hutchinson, and then you made an aggressive move for most people, for many people who believe number 1 wideout is Jameis Williams. After that, so we got to pump the brakes a little bit. Like this, we got to wait. We got to pump.
You heard Tannenbaum yesterday. He said we got Lions got the number 2 and number 3. Top 3 out of the top 3 players.
Yeah, but Mike Tannenbaum also cut me and kept San Antonio Holmes, and they never went back to the playoffs. So you got to take everything with a grain of salt.
NFL Europe games announced this year. We'll have that for you. And Maz's videos of the day.
And a great hockey story.
Great hockey story. Can't wait for it. We'll have that coming up next. But first, the message from Sticker Genius.
Sticker Genius is the official sticker partner of Woodward Sports. When it comes to stickers and signage, think Sticker Genius. Sticker Genius put all of this beautiful wall covering all over the Woodward Sports studio, and they did it in less than a day. If you go to their website, stickergenius.com, you will see that they offer window graphics, wall graphics, custom stickers, and so much more. If you want them to hook you up like they hooked us up, visit their website at stickergenius.com. This is Ermanni and Edwards, Woodward Sports Network, the bottom line.
I'm Craig Tannehill. Working with Hall Financial to purchase my first home was easier than I could have ever imagined. They treated me like family from start to finish. Find out for yourself at callhallfirst.com.
You don't have to go to the beach, man. You don't have to get your butt crack full of sand. You just need a little chili peppers, man, to get that glowing beach chili peppers tan. Woo!
With 26 locations in the Metro Detroit area and more coming, Chili Peppers Tanning is where you'll find the cleanest salons in the D. Join the Pepper Club for the best deals on unlimited tanning. Head to chilipepperstanning.com.
You just need a little chili peppers, man.
Cinco de Mayo and tequila are tomorrow, but today we're talking about vodka and Gypsy. This is gluten-free, Michigan's own. Adam Mike, you got it right this time. 50 formulas went into it. You know the stick, but what you don't know yet is how good it tastes. I'm telling you, it goes well with everything. Go to the liquor store now. Get it. Ask for it by name, Gypsy Vodka, but make sure you know if you're going to drink, you got to do it responsibly. That's coming from Woodward Sports Network.
Woodward Sports Network is the place. If you're watching on YouTube, go ahead and smash that like button for us. Tell a friend about us as well. You can watch us on YouTube right on your television sets right there. Do they still call them television sets?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, there you go. Tigers win game 1 of the doubleheader against Pittsburgh 3-2. So in my 17 and 13,
16 to go.
that is now 1-0. Go ahead and sweep these guys. Alex Faedo gets the ball, 440. It's going to be really interesting. He's top prospect by the Tigers. Tommy John. We talk about these surgeries that were once thought of as career-ending. Now they're just routine. Faedo has Tommy John surgery, I believe, 14 months ago, and here he is.
Justin Verlander at 38 years old had Tommy John surgery, and he's back throwing strikes like it's like he didn't miss a beat. That's what I'm talking about, man. Like the science of medicine, man, they get better year after year after year, because what happens is you get these newer, younger doctors that take chances. They create new methods, man. So you talk about Jameson Williams. You got Justin Verlander, Tommy John at 38, and look what he's doing now.
Right.
Jameson Williams is 21 years old. Let's rock.
They should just put Justin Verlander in the Hall of Fame as he's playing.
Right.
Really, I mean, that's how great this guy was.
Right. I mean, you can't do that.
All right. Just wanted to let you know that's my thought on it. I enjoyed watching him.
Let his career be over first.
Okay.
I do want to make mention NFL Europe games announced. I cannot wait for the NFL schedule to come out so I can show you guys where the Lions are going to win 10 games. Cannot wait for that. But I am very happy to announce the fact that the Lions will not play abroad this year. You've got London games, you've got Munich, Germany, and Mexico City. So 3 games in London, Vikings, Saints, Giants, Packers, and then Broncos and Jags. The Jags, poor Jags have to play abroad every year. In Munich, Germany, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and the Seattle Seahawks play, and then in Mexico City, it is the 49ers against the Arizona Cardinals.
You don't want to get up at 5 a.m. for the pregame?
No. No, I
Who
would
was
rather
that was playing that we're watching this year? Was it
Jacksonville?
It was Tua. Yeah, it was Miami and Jacksonville.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
You want to talk about the hockey story from last night,
Well,
the
yeah,
goalie.
Last night, just great NHL playoffs. By the way, the Avalanche are going to be tough to beat.
The Montague.
Hate to admit it, but last night, Caps, Avalanche, Penguins, and Flames all go up 1-0 tonight. Bruins against the Canes, Lightning, Leafs. Good series.
Austin Meadows, baby.
Blues Wild,
Austin Meadows,
Kings,
baby.
Oilers. Got to get that one for Kenny Holland for Edmonton. But last night, the Penguins are in double overtime with the Rangers at the Garden. And their goaltender, who was the backup goaltender.
The Montague?
Yeah. What was his What was his name there, Alex? DeSmith? No, DeSmith?
DeSmith, yeah.
This kid DeSmith stood on his head. But you know what? He ran out of gas halfway through the second period. They had to take him out. All of a sudden, they bring this backup goaltender in.
Who was
off
eating
the
broccoli.
bench. Louis Dominique is his name.
Dominique, there it is.
Louis Dominique. Let me make sure I'm saying. Yeah, Louis Dominique. Here's a guy that's been on 5 teams in the last 4 years. He's basically like a beer league goaltender. I'm not going to insult the guy, but that's what he basically is. He comes in. First time it's ever happened in history. Look at this.
Yeah, first time in
NHL history
to enter a playoff game in the second overtime period or later. The previous guy was gassed.
He stopped 15 shots. The Rangers was pelting him with shots right off the face-off.
How do you say I'm gassed though? How do you just take yourself out of a game
he had
like
cramps.
that?
He couldn't even
like,
stand
I'm
up.
Gassed.
So anyway, Louis Dominique. Congratulations. Penguins, of course. Geno Malkin with the game winner, beat the Rangers. Screw the Rangers.
He's still around.
Yep,
Geno.
he's still the Rangers. But the Penguins, they're a thorn in the Rangers' side. That's for sure.
It's always good to see stories like this. You see Dominique had the story. You see Gabriel Davis last year with the 4 touchdowns in the playoffs. Like, these stories are great when like you talked about Gary Payton. Talk about how hard he had to fight and claw to get to where he is. Those stories are always the best ones.
I love the stories about people, man. Those are to me what this is all about.
Yeah.
Time of the day we like to play Maz's videos of the day.
Got a few.
And now it's time for Maz's videos of the day, only on the Woodward Sports Network.
Hey, since we talked about NFL Europe and the Packers and the G-Men are going to be playing in London, here's Brian Daboll breaking the news to Eli Manning.
Hey, Eli, got your passport ready for October?
What? Yeah, sure.
All right, well, let's go.
I'm there. I don't know where. Why do I need a passport?
There you go. The Giants and the Packers. Little Eli Manning side slapping.
Poor guy.
You can tell Eli's not the best typer. That fake typing was bad.
Right, that fake typing, the pencil chicken scratch.
I thought it was apropos that we talked about Eli Manning there.
How do you not?
All right, here's one for you. How about the dog that can do a hula hoop?
Uh-oh.
Check this little dog out. Going crazy. Let's see that again.
Oh yeah. So this is the exercise I need to do.
The hula hooping dog.
Yeah, you don't need no hula hoop though.
No, you use the hula hoop to get ready for the real thing.
It better not be a hula hoop.
But you use a hula hoop, it's like you lift weights. You lift weights to get ready.
Big.
Okay, our next. Okay, guys. Okay, our next.
I'm sorry.
Our next video. Braylon's gonna love this one. This is a bowling video. This kid Carson.
Who do you think you are? I am.
This kid Carson bowling for Team Storm, throwing his first 300 game. Check it out. How about that, huh? How about that? His first 300 game. That is exciting, right, Braylon?
So good.
I remember my first 300 game 15 years ago.
The champ is here.
Champ is back.
GWC, baby.
Champ is
Greatest
ready.
wrestling collection.
How many sanctioned 300 games you got?
2.
You got rings?
I have 2.
Nice.
Rings, I got 1.
Nice.
I got 1. Yeah, I bought 1 at Hartfield Lanes back in 2005. I bought 1 in Novi.
We're setting up the Maz Bowl-a-thon.
Champ is back.
This
How about
summer.
Stan? Is Stan Bowl?
It's not about Stans. It's about me. It's about me and you, baby.
I'll be ready for
You
it.
know what Roman Reigns says? Acknowledge me.
I acknowledge
Hey, you didn't like did you got one more?
Yeah.
Yeah, the one.
I got plenty.
I sent you one more.
No, I didn't get yours.
Remember the one with the ball?
Of course I do. You
It's
sent
the
it to me
best.
like I didn't have it before you sent it to me.
I didn't see it.
Oh, yeah? Well, you didn't look at the form. That's why I didn't send you the form. I had that like hours before you sent that to me.
Show the people.
Let's go to Sky Dome, shall we? A home run by Aaron Judge. And look at this great Toronto Blue Jays fan, what he does for this Aaron Judge kid fan.
What?
You say he gets away with a lot of those, and it's hard for hitters to square them up. We don't see that a whole lot, but Judge was on it.
Not only a Yankee fan wearing a Judge
Street, young-
t-shirt.
Look at this guy.
It's a
The
Blue
kid is
Jay.
What's
so
better than
happy.
this? Sobbing.
Isn't that sweet?
That's great.
He
Hug
hit
it
that,
on him.
He hit that joker to
job.
the Young Street. If you're not familiar with Toronto, Young Street's the longest street down there. It's kind of like Woodward or Jefferson.
Very good, gang. All right, good job there, Maz.
Thank you.
Yeah, Sam Flannel, Alex, Bray, the champ.
You get us out of here.
All right, hell, I'll get us
You
out
get
of
us
here.
out of here,
Hell of a
champ.
day. Hey, we here at Woodward Sports love and appreciate each and every one of you, even the trolls that hate our sports takes.
We love
Don't want to
you.
ever listen to us again. You suck. We love you guys,
Suck.
too. We even like you because you count as a view, and we'll take it. Guys, if you're new to Woodward Sports, enjoy it. Enjoy it. Let us know what we can do better. If you're listening on Apple Podcasts, Google, whatever, however you're listening to us, YouTube, it's really great, and we thank you. And we'll see you tomorrow night.
Oh, and by the way, we know everybody's listening.
Yeah, they couldn't play defense at the time. In fact, I had a negative nickname for Isaiah Thomas because he got no. I used to call him Juicy Booty.
Hey, that's another fact we
He
didn't
couldn't
know.
get in front of anybody, and the Juicy Booty was keeping him from doing that.
Why did you give him that name, Terry?
Yeah, because his ass was big and he couldn't get in front of anybody.
The Kyle Lowry of his day.
Right.
The Kyle Lowry.
Wow.
So he was JB to me.